He said I'd set up a stream. He said I'd do it, so I did it. He said I would do it, and so I did it because of him. My Wi-Fi is really bad tonight, guys. If I drop, it's because my Wi-Fi is really bad. So keep that in mind. I might wind up Thanosing out of existence. He said I'd do it, so I did it. So now I'm here. All right, guys. Rob from ETN. I've got him playing in my ear, sorry. Rob from ETN is out here saying that it's Mechagodzilla in disguise throughout the whole Godzillaverse Kong trailer, calling me out, made a whole video that I didn't watch, calling me out, saying that it's definitely Mechagodzilla. So now I'm here to debate him live, prove that that is not Mechagodzilla. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go away for a second. Give me a second. There I go. This is what we're going to have to live with here. Is this image. I totally keep forgetting that I'm streaming. I totally keep forgetting. Okay. Let me give this a shot. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna I actually have to pause the stream and then I'll be right back because I can't join his with face cam because of the way OBS works. So give me 1 second, but I'll be right back. I'll be right back, I promise. Just tune right back in like 5 seconds, okay? All right, I told you I'd be back. I said I'd be back. I didn't lie. I promised. I'm here. All right. I'm ready. I need in. I need in. I need in. He needs to put me in. I need in. Well, 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 look at who it is. Look at who it is.
This is the only way I can get you on the stream.
Because
I know, and genuinely, I know you're a busy guy. But I said, I got to force his hand. I got to force his hand. So here we are. I'm on the, you could probably see, okay, good. You can see me here. So, because it's a little messed up on your end, my camera, but.
My camera's messed up?
No, your camera's fine. Mine's is a little like high. Actually, hold on a second.
I see.
There we go. That's
Sorry
a little better.
to my viewers. My viewers can't see anything. They just get an image. You get the exclusive visual rights to this. This is your idea.
No, I have you on full screen. I'm on the lower right to my viewers.
I know, but you get the exclusive visuals. No one gets to see anything on mine. They just get to hear it.
All right, hold on 1 second here. The bones of Anguirus. Somebody said Mechagodzilla is going to be made of the bones of Anguirus.
I believe it.
All right.
I hope the audio levels are good for everybody. I'm sure they'll let me know if they're not.
Yeah. His audio's. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm going to have to turn off alerts because I lowered. Yeah, let me put this up. I'm going to turn off alerts because when they come in, it's going to go over his audio, my audio. So for those of you guys who are dropping tips, I'll just read them afterwards, okay? So, you know, they'll pop up on screen still, but we're not going to hear it. So let me just turn that off. Or actually, they'll still be recorded, so no worries. All right, we'll just catch them after the fact. All right. Okay, here is the debate you've all been waiting for. Now, on D-Man's hand, he believes the idea of Mechagodzilla being disguised is absolutely absurd. I am of the belief that Mechagodzilla could possibly be disguised in this movie. We're going to start off with
Could possibly.
D-Man.
You sound very convinced. Wow,
I
you're
am
coming
very
with some fire.
I got to be honest. I am convinced, but I got to say possibly to please the newbies who are to the channel and get easily offended by the idea. You know, so you know how that is. All right. So D-Man, why do you think the idea of Mechagodzilla being disguised is absolutely like what do you think are the tangibles that are completely against it? Like, why do you think it cannot happen at all?
Okay, well, I don't
object. No, I'm just
I don't
kidding.
even know where to start with this answer. All right, let's go back to just some very basics. Movies before this. All right.
Okay.
Let's take a look at movies before this. So first of all, let's acknowledge that yes, Mechagodzilla will be in the movie and probably, presumably, be built around the bones that we saw in the 2014 film. Seems likely.
Okay.
But it has been well established by the creative team involved with the Monsterverse that the Monsterverse is supposed to be anywhere between 5 to 10 years more technologically advanced than our society. How are you going to tell me? So even if we get over the fact that we can build a Mechagodzilla, which sure, like maybe, because, you know, we're building a real life Gundam, it's full size, you know, maybe. Let's just say for suspension of disbelief. How are you going to tell me after that they built the world's most convincing outfit for him to wear to the point where the gills flinch, he has spit in his mouth, he is, you know, his fat's jiggling? How are you going to tell me that they could build, and no one's going to hear it? No one's going to hear the metal clanking? Everyone's just going to hear Godzilla guttural noises that he makes, you know, his little vibrations? How are you going to tell me that that's going to work?
Okay, so my argument is, all right, first let's take the Heave. All right, the Heave is an anti-gravity flying machine.
Well, sure, you could say a helicopter is the same thing.
Anti-gravity?
Well, we don't know what anti-gravity means. Watch the trailer. All that thing does is fly.
But what we do know, anything we know of anti-gravity has always been, even in real life, associated in pseudoscience, even with like alien technology. So let's assume that's even a possibility, because that's usually what it's associated with. So if they have what some describe as potential alien technology to have a device to go into the hollow earth, they've built, as far as we know right now, until we see the movie, we don't know. They built a Mechagodzilla within a year. Okay, so this takes place a year after the events in Boston. Assuming they built this Mechagodzilla within a year, I don't think they will. I don't think that's the case. I'm sure it was being built well before that, but we don't know yet. So until we find out for sure, let's just go with that. The idea that you could cover Mechagodzilla in an outer layer, whether you want to call it tissue from King Ghidorah's regenerating ability, whether you want to call it a hologram that's combined with it, what I'm saying is I don't think the technology to actually do it is as far-fetched as I think a lot of people think. You know what I mean? Like, I think it could be pulled off. Again, this doesn't mean it's going to happen, but when I saw the Heave, there are some minor things about the trailer regarding his appearance, very subtle. If you want to call it a reach, that's fine. But I put it side by side, and there is some distinct color differentiation, not in one scene, in several scenes, which is what caught my eye, because there's either one of two things. Either A, the CGI is inconsistent, and I think we could agree that's not the case.
I disagree, actually. I do think it is a little inconsistent.
You do think? Okay.
Well, watch the shot of Kong, you know, punching Godzilla. I think that shot in particular, not only does Kong not look right, but I think the CG in that shot's pretty weak. Godzilla, I think, actually looks really good in that shot. But I actually do think that the CG is a little iffy at some points in this trailer.
Okay, so you think the CGI is inconsistent, which would make sense considering you don't believe that this is a possibility. I think technology-wise, considering 2014, the technology has taken a significant power creep from 2014 to 2019, from 2019 to now. 2014, they only had your basic aircraft carriers, ships. Then in 2019, out of nowhere, we had the Argo. Then we had planes coming out of the Argo. We had the Orca. Now we have anti-gravity flying machines. So why, you know what I mean? Like it just, and I don't care. That's fine if they jump the technology. What I'm saying is that if the technology's gone that far in this series, then the idea of even going one step further to conceal Mechagodzilla, I don't think is really far-fetched.
I think there's a lot of. You said it right at the start. You're making some pretty massive blanket assumptions, such as they built Mechagodzilla in a year. In King of the Monsters, we see a news article saying he's already been in construction. So, probably since 2014 he's been in construction. And as far as the Hev goes, again, first of all, aliens. There's no evidence to suggest this thing's built of alien technology.
I'm not saying in the movies. I'm not saying in the movie at all. I'm not saying there's alien in the movies. My argument is that in real life, when they talk about anti-gravity technology, the possibility of it, in real life, scientists have related that often with alien technology. They don't know it is. They don't know if it's something they can create 50 years from now. But the idea of anti-gravity technology is, the closest we've come to it is like the Harrier jet, and even that is still propeller. It's not just whatever anti-gravity technology is. So if they have it in this show, you're saying it's 10 years in the future, like 10 years ahead of what we normally like have now, right? That's what you said.
That's what they're saying.
So if they have the technology to have anti-gravity machines to be able to go into the hollow earth, which obviously has its own ecosystem, I just don't think the idea of being able to conceal Mechagodzilla is complete. Even if it wasn't an actual skin, even if it was just a simulated shield, and that's not even my argument. My argument is actually that the fact that King Ghidorah can regenerate, I don't think they would put that to waste if they were able to harness it, because the argument, that some believe is that he's going to be used as a source to give Mechagodzilla autonomy, which I think is a pretty good theory. But I don't think it'll stop there. If he has the ability to regenerate and you're able to graft, all right, his regenerative skin, his ability on the machine itself, then I don't think the idea of concealing him is completely, technology-wise within the series out of the question.
And so we just have to believe that they somehow found a way to make it so that he doesn't regen as himself again. He somehow takes the exact form of Godzilla.
Yeah, sure. Hey, listen, you and me, one thing we do agree on is prior to this whole Mechagodzilla thing, the idea of a Mechagodzilla is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay. He's here now. Okay. So why would they stop there? Now I get it. Look, he's only been disguised once in the whole Godzilla series, which was in '74, his first appearance. So there's no reason to disguise him again. I get that, because every iteration after that, he's always been exposed. But I look at 2019, I see a very Showa-esque movie. I see creators that really want to go to the roots. And one of my arguments that I told a lot of my viewers when they talk about other monsters they like to see, and I tell them the reason you got Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah is because they've been around longer. There are multiple generations that can share their knowledge of this monster, unlike a monster like, say, Destroyer. Unlike a monster like, say, Biollante, who only come in the Heisei series. These three monsters have transcended to pretty much each, maybe with the exception of Rodan. I don't think Rodan was in the... No, he was, because he was in Final Wars, was he not? Mm-hmm. So all three of those monsters have gone through each era, and that's why I think they were the ones chosen, because they were the most recognizable over a long gap of generations that have viewed these movies. So if they continue with that, that's part of my argument as well, is that, well, his original first iteration, he was disguised. And that, along with some of the discrepancies I saw in the trailer now, I would hate to think that there were CGI inconsistencies, because they've had enough time with this movie on their hands.
But to be fair, they haven't been working on it this whole time. They stopped working on it months ago, like half a year ago or something.
Yeah. Actually, I was under the impression they stopped working on it like when it was supposed to come out on the 20th. I was under the impression that they probably stopped working on it like during the summer that year, before maybe not only that, like shortly before COVID.
I
You know,
don't.
when
I don't
everything had
know.
to get shut down.
I don't know when they finished. I do know that it would have made the November release date, but it would not have made the March release date. Some point over summer, we did get a date. I don't remember what the date is, but.
So, what is your reason? I know your reason in terms of. Is your reason more story based?
I have a lot of reasons. A lot.
Okay, so I want to hear more.
Okay, well, first of all, let me backtrack just a second. About the anti-gravity stuff, I just want to say that we see the Hev at 154 in the trailer, and it's all it is just a little like a Super X, just with these blue streaks.
It looks a lot like a
flame.
Super X, even though we know it's not, but it does look a lot like a Super X.
I'm sure had we not known about the toys, that's exactly what I would have thought it was. But we see it, right? What's the difference between this and the Argo, other than this is on a smaller scale? Because the Argo has the ability to hover in midair, and it's got the same blue jet stream. Now, we know that in real life, you can't hover a plane like that. That cannot happen, but the Argo can. What's the difference? I say that this is just a scaled-down version of the same technology given a fancy name for fun, because it sells on toys, you know? Who's even to say that they call it that in the movie?
Right. So you're saying they had the technology sooner, or at least as soon as King of the Monsters.
I'm saying that the technology here is not a leap. The technology of the Hev doesn't leap anything at all. The technology of Mechagodzilla does, but the Hev itself does not.
Okay. So assuming that the Argo is anti-gravity, because we never actually got official word, but I think that's a fair argument because it does hover. So they actually had that technology sooner, which means they had more time to perfect it.
Well, yeah, but what are you calling anti-gravity? Because anti-gravity in this instance appears to just be a hovering vehicle, like a plane that can hover. That's what they're using as anti-gravity.
That's the description that read on the, where was it? I think it was the toy package of the Heave.
Yeah, it's called the Hollow Earth anti-gravity vehicle, but it doesn't state what anti-gravity means in this context. Like, it doesn't, like, what are you saying? Like, it means, like, the same thing as, like, Gypsy Avengers, like, giant gravity sling? Like, what are you proposing that anti-gravity means here?
I'm going based on what the most common knowledge is of anti-gravity, which is what we know it to be or what we think it to be linked with in real life, you know, because that's really all I have to go on. You know, they haven't explained it in the Monsterverse. Otherwise, I'd go with that definition. Until they decide to put it in the story and describe it under their universe, I'm defining anti-gravity via its mainstream real life definition, that the best definition scientists can give, which is the kind of technology that we can't even create right now.
What do you think it does, though?
What do I think it does?
Yeah, what do you think it does?
Well, we're gonna find out in the movie, because if they need it to be in the Hollow Earth, and the Hollow Earth has its own ecosystem, it obviously does something that the Argo can't. And maybe your point being that it's a smaller scale, maybe that's one of the reasons it is smaller.
Well, I think it is probably because they can't fit the Argo down there.
Yeah, or the Argo would be much too big. Hold on, what is it, buddy?
Can I say goodnight?
Yes, come say goodnight.
Good night, Daddy. And hey, D-Man, would you rather have Godzilla in the next movie, or would you rather have Megalon?
You gotta
Megalon, just for you.
He said Megalon. That's cute. My son he's jacked up on this for this movie.
I will say little brother is too.
Yeah, he did say Team Kong when I first asked him, but I had to put him in check.
No,
so
you watched that trailer. Godzilla didn't land a hit, my man.
No, I don't know. He didn't, and I think that's just to make the Kong fans feel good
I actually don't think
inevitable.
I don't think it's for the Kong fans. I actually think it's for the general audience who's like, Kong can't fight Godzilla. I think the whole trailer is basically to be like, well, he can. I think that's the point. But yeah, I don't actually think it's representative of the fight.
So yeah, I think I still think it's a bit of a technological leap, but you do bring up a good point that they had this at least the Argo represents that they had it on a bigger scale. They probably had to size it down to get into the Hollow Earth. But also that kind of lends credence to the fact that they've had it longer. They've had longer time to tinker with it. Now, what about the Ghidorah theory? Because that is, I think, obviously an element that's going to play a role. Mike Doherty did confirm that in an interview. I showed you that.
Yeah.
And where do you think they're going with that? Your opinion?
I do think that the most probable thing they will do with it, which I think is a horrible idea from a conceptual standpoint. I do think they're going to put the brain inside Mechagodzilla. You know, like we basically saw that same plot of it's Pacific Rim Uprising. That's the plot of that movie, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever the Obsidian Fury or whatever it was called. That's exactly what that was. And so it just seems like they've done it before in-house. They're probably going to go that route again. I don't think that they're going to use the head to regenerate Godzilla flesh. First of all, nothing says that they can do that.
Yeah.
But also, there's no evidence to suggest they do or would do that.
And there's also no evidence to suggest otherwise. So I just want to make that clear.
I guess. I mean, like, I guess.
I get. All right. So my argument was this. My argument was the fact that he could regenerate, if they find a way to harness that ability. Obviously, my argument is they would use it to conceal Mechagodzilla. Now, in terms of him looking like Ghidorah as opposed to looking like Godzilla, that's where my whole argument with either. Now, I know some people think it's like a hologram.
I don't think it's. In fact, I know it isn't a hologram because we would definitely be able to tell if it was. Like, there's no way a hologram could have the flesh jiggle, and also you can't have a hologram spit. And he spits.
And have a hologram spit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't agree, but...
You think you can have a hologram spit and people are going to, like, you're going to be able to interact with that?
Simulate?
What is
simulation, man.
How horrible of a simulation is this thing if anyone standing underneath it can pick a hole in it and go, well, wait a minute. What do you think the goal of this is? Who's
to say that anyone can pick a hole in any concealment? Now, first of all, the hologram thing, and I said in my video, I'm not sold on the hologram thing. My point is, if they use King Ghidorah's regenerating ability to conceal him, right? Now you have kaiju skin over him.
Okay.
We know that missiles, stuff like that, cannot penetrate that very easily. The clanking metal, now come on, man. If he's got an exterior, all right, think about Terminator.
Even in the 70s movie, he still makes metallic sound effects, and we can tell that it's not the real Godzilla.
Well, not when I don't think when he's concealed.
Yes, he can. First of all, he's got a different roar. He sounds completely different.
He sounds different. Yes, I know that.
When Anguirus clashes with him, he makes all sorts of like chinging noises.
Well, he attempted to tackle. Sorry, Anguirus fans, because he attempts to tackle Mechagodzilla, and then he reveals him, and it's at that point that you hear that sound. When he scratches off the surface of the skin with his spikes, then you hear the clank, then you reveal the metal. I would expect something like that to happen in this movie as well, if that were the case. Once again, because some people get really uptight when I talk about this theory. And listen, I'll be real. I want to make it very clear. It's not that I'm for this. You know what I mean? I was never for Mechagodzilla in the first place, but it's here. So, I like to play devil's advocate because, there are some people who believe on a lesser number believe it. I tend to go with the underdogs, but I also did see some inconsistencies. The color of his dorsal plates.
I don't know. The dorsal plate color?
Yeah, I did. So the dorsal plate color on two separate scenes is a much lighter blue. And then in two different scenes where I think it's the real Godzilla, it's a darker blue. There's one, I don't even want to bring up the words.
Are you talking about when he's underwater, they're lighter?
Underwater, and when he's blowing up when he's using his atomic breath to blow up and his eyes are glowing to blow up I don't know if it's a city. It looks like a factory of some sort.
Yeah, it's a factory.
It's very reminiscent of actually the Mechagodzilla movie, I thought. But those two scenes, they're the same very light blue color. Then there's two scenes where I believe is the real Godzilla, where the dorsal plates are darker blue, and the atomic breath. The last scene I'm referring to out of those two is when Kong is coming down with the axe. Mm-hmm. The dorsal plates are once again the darker blue, and the breath is a darker blue as well.
You are seeing things right now. I'm scrubbing through the trailer right now. I also posted a comparison.
Get a high definition monitor, man.
I have the highest definition trailer. I also posted a comparison on Twitter today of Godzilla underwater, and it's the exact same coloration that we saw when he rises up and shoots his beam in the sky in King of the Monsters. So it's
the same scene. It's the same scene. It's the same. It's like the similar scene, I should say, not the same scene.
Yeah. But I'm saying the coloration is identical.
No, listen. Look at that shot of him blowing up the factory. Look at his dorsal
Looking
plates.
at it.
Even look at
looking
his
at him.
arm. Look at his arm. Okay, go to the 3 seconds before that. Look at his dorsal plates and look at his arm.
When
And
he's
look at
blowing
his
up the
hand.
factory.
Okay, and then go 3 seconds before that. It's the scene right before Mark Russell.
When he's
look at
roaring
his
in the
dorsal
city.
plates and look at his arm. Yeah, and look at his dorsal plates and look at his arm.
I don't, dude. I don't see it.
Yes, you do.
I promise you I don't. I promise you I don't.
Dude. All right, I'm gonna have to. Well, everybody here on chat's already.
What
seen
about
it.
his
Like,
arm are you talking about?
All right, go back to the one where he's blowing up the factory. Look at his
Yes.
left arm. All right,
Okay.
and look at his hand as well. All right, and now, if you have it downloaded and you shimmy left and right, you can actually see the movement. You can't really do that on YouTube. And then go back 3 seconds to the other shot. Look at his right arm. Look at the difference in size, and then, but mainly the dorsal plate. His arm size has always been inconsistent in these movies, but the dorsal plate color to me is real. The real, like, I find that to be subtle enough that it says something.
I don't see what you're saying, especially about the arm, but are you okay, so you're saying that the Godzilla that's in Hong Kong is the real Godzilla, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well then the only thing that I think lends anything to the Mechagodzilla theory, and I think if you're saying this, it doesn't work, is that in the previous Monsterverse films, how does Godzilla charge up? From bottom up. In this trailer, every single time he charges up, he charges top down. So that would be the only thing that I think you could point to and say, well, this isn't acting like he did in the previous movies, but he does it both when he's underwater and here when he's in Hong Kong. So
All right, but I'm not
predict,
actually, and that's actually a good point. Somebody else mentioned that to me, but that's actually not my argument. I'm just talking about the color differential.
I know you are, but I genuinely don't think that that's, well, also let me point out, first of all, the color in this trailer is really bad. For instance, if we scrub through, it's the scene when all of the bats are descending on Kong, you know, it's at
That's when he's like getting the X.
yeah, it's at 207.
Yeah.
It's at 207 in the trailer, all these things descending on him. You see these blue streaks down the wall, and they're just, the colors are just crushed. Like, and if you go through the trailer, and there's so many instances where the colors are crushed, and they don't look right. And actually, if you go to the King of the Monsters special features on the Blu-ray, you see the exact same thing going on, where in the Blu-ray transfer for the movie, the colors are fine, but in the special features, the colors are all crushed. And you see that all throughout this trailer. So I don't actually think we can. And personally, I genuinely don't see that.
All right, let me ask you
but,
this. Let me ask you this. Whether small or not, do you see a difference in the color that I'm pointing out?
I genuinely don't. No.
You don't. Okay. All right. That's all.
I mean, if I had them side by side, maybe, but I'm having to scrub back and forth, and I can't see it.
Hold on. I'm glad you said that. Let me pull it up for you.
Okay.
I got it.
Because I don't see it.
I can't screen share with both. Let me see here, because I did save this. Where's my Mecha G is fake? My Mecha G is in disguise folder. Give me a second. I'm gonna have a whole folder of these pictures. Where did I put it? I have too much shit in my desktop. Oh, here it is. Okay. There's
Are you
even
just
go ahead. I'm sorry.
about the arms? Are you just trying to say that they're longer in one shot?
Well, not just that they're longer, but also, why isn't this popping up? Not only that they're longer, but also his hand. You know how? All right. Well, I don't know if you know that, so I'm not going to say anything. But why is this not popping up? I can't get you back. Oh, that's why, because it's over here. Not only that, it's hold on one second, guys. I know you guys are freaking out because I minimized it. Not only that they're longer, but also his left arm, the long one I'm talking about. If you look at his hand, I mean, there's such a big difference in size from the one 3 seconds before. Give me 1 second, because I got to figure out how I minimized you. So there we go. Okay. Sorry, guys.
I I don't see the size
I want to say
difference.
what it looks like, but I don't want to potentially spoil you. This,
Are you talking about
know,
the toys? Because I've seen the toys, and you can't fit that Mechagodzilla inside this Godzilla. The proportions don't line up because that dude has claw hands.
right? So you telling me he can't retract them? I mean, come on, D-Man.
I am.
The guy was shooting missiles out of his fingertips for the last 30 years. You're gonna tell me he can't retract his claws?
You're gonna tell me they're gonna make 3 different versions of Mechagodzilla toys and not one of them have the separate hands?
Why wouldn't they? It's money.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is if he did have retractable hands, they would absolutely make different hands. But the Mechagodzilla toys we see, they all have these giant claw hands.
Yeah, but we know there's gonna be more toys coming out. I mean, how many toys come out after the movie's out? There's always a new line that comes out. I personally think, especially considering that, well, again, well, I'm not going to say what the leak is. You probably saw it already anyway. But considering that they're still trying to conceal some of what he looks like, it's the one toy we haven't seen yet. You know what I mean? And that toy leak, that picture came out, what, almost 2 years ago now?
That was a year ago.
It was, what, we're in 2021. Didn't it come out in 2019?
It was
right?
January 2020.
2020, after CCXP. So it's about a year old.
Yeah.
Little over a year old. So that's I mean, a lot of things can change. They already took one of those toys off the market, and
Which
they
one?
remade the one with the red, the Mega Godzilla with the red contraption on his back.
We don't know that that's gone.
Well,
Oh, that one wasn't Mechagodzilla. The one with the red thing on his back wasn't Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla. Hold on, let me pull the picture up because I could have sworn that's what it said on the box. Then they released the Mega Heat Ray Godzilla,
Yeah.
which is a light up one. That's one of the more recent ones. Here, I have it here. Hold on, let me pull it up.
I'll pull mine up as well just to see. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Mega
I see it,
Godzilla, yeah,
it.
you see what? Yeah, so it's Mega Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from what I understand, there was an official tweet leaked from the company that actually, not Playmates, the company that actually makes the toys or manufactures them for Playmates, that apparently that wasn't coming out. And that's where we got the light up one. That is now the Mega Heat Ray Godzilla. That's the information I was given from collectors. I think it was James. James, did you tweet that to me? Or you gave me that info? So even the Mega Heat Ray Godzilla, I don't know if you have that picture.
Yeah, I
but the light up one, so you see the dorsal plates in the bottom are white or like a very light blue. And then you look at some of the other Godzilla related toys. And in fact, my son has one of the Playmates where the spines are the blue, you know, the normal blue, the darker blue. Now, I know it's a light up toy, but the center portion of those dorsal plates are clear, which is where the light up happens.
I think you and I are looking at 2 different images.
We probably are. It's all good.
I'm looking at the close-up box art of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks the same as the close-up box art of Godzilla. They're the same color.
The skin, yeah.
No, the dorsal
skin
fin color. I could send you the screenshot so you see which 2 I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have them all. Which one are you talking about? The Mega Heat Ray?
I'm looking at the one of original Mechagodzilla. It's framed in front of a Kong, Mega Kong, and he's got the red power armor. And then I'm looking at another one, which is a back of the box of just normal Godzilla with Heat Ray. And if you look, it's the same exact dorsal plates. And same color.
That Mechagodzilla, the one that leaked, where he's standing in front of Godzilla and Kong's in the center behind him. Mechagodzilla's body is smaller.
Yeah, but his hands are like 1,000 times bigger.
Right.
And his arms are
Exactly.
too. His arms are 1,000 times bigger.
Yeah, I don't think that would be an issue if you're talking about a robot. That's like people that were arguing with me that he's swimming underwater. So like people never saw Pacific Rim. You know what I mean? Like honestly, like robots can't go underwater now. Like, you know, fuck submarines, right? You know, metal underwater. My point is that he's thinner on the legs. Actually, let me maximize this because I know chat's looking at it too. He's thinner on the legs. He's thinner on the arms, and even his torso's thinner. So the idea that he's wearing, I make it sound like he's putting this shit on before he goes outside. The idea of him being concealed, now I understand the argument with the claws, but my counter argument to that is that's not a big deal. You can just retract them shits. If he closes his claw and then it goes inside, that's the same thing Gypsy Danger did in Pacific Rim.
But the rest of his arms are so much bigger, and even looking at this picture of Godzilla blowing up the factory, his arms are not that. I don't even think they're bigger. They don't look bigger to me.
They look a lot bigger to me.
You're telling me you're saying it's just the left arm that's bigger? Well, then what would the
that's the best shot I can get. You know what I mean? Like that's right in front of the camera. I mean, let me pull up.
We got a shot of Godzilla roaring when we're looking at him, and he's facing this way, which means we're looking at his right arm. We got a shot of Godzilla blowing up the factory, and he's facing this way.
We're looking at his left arm, but you can still see both arms pretty clearly.
Yeah, but the arms don't look bigger. He's also got one pointed out towards the camera, so that's obviously going to make it look at least a little bigger.
So there's the arm.
And as for everybody saying, like, in the shot of Godzilla blowing up the factory, you can see that he has red on his spines. He has red on, like, 3 of the front ones because it's reflecting the fire. You're seeing the red from the heat in the fire.
Wait.
He's also got red on his belly.
Now, I was going to say, I didn't even talk about the spikes, even though, like, that's not even part of my argument, although it is interesting. But, I mean, I definitely see the reflection on the chest.
Yeah, you see there's like 3 spines that are like kind of reddish.
Yeah, so you don't see the difference in color between the one in the city and the one that's destroying the factory. You don't see the difference in color. The dark blue and the light blue. You don't see that? I mean, come on, seriously, it's so obvious. It's like I don't know how you could possibly miss that.
Because it doesn't like okay, in the shot of him roaring in the city, the more I look at it, yes, I can, but also they're first of all, those are just charging up. So they're obviously not going to be full bright. And then look at the shot of him blowing at Kong when he's shooting Kong with the axe. It's the same color.
It's the same color as the one on the left, not the one on the right.
No, it's the same brightness of the one of him blowing up the factory.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's the same color blue.
Now. Hold on.
It's the same shade blue.
No, it's not, man. It's
what
different.
Are you picking, like, images where his spines flicker dark so that you can get them looking darker because his spines flicker?
Oh, come on. Now you're tripping. See, now you're stretching. I got you on strong now.
Okay, what evidence do you actually have that it's Mechagodzilla? You have nothing.
I'm showing the evidence right now to my chat.
You have some... Okay, let me pull up your stream. You have some conspiracy theories.
Look at that dark blue. Look at that light blue. Come on now. Look how dark that is.
No. Look.
It's different. It's different. Compare the beams. All right,
compare the beams. Okay, the beams are a difference. Yes, the one beam is kind of like fizzly. The other beam is super straight, like super refined. That I will point out. But also, look at that shot of Godzilla blowing up the aircraft carrier from over the ocean. You're telling me that's Mechagodzilla. That's what you're telling me. And he's got the same beam there that he has here.
Wait, I'm talking about the one where he's destroying the factory. That's who I think Mechagodzilla is.
You don't think it's Mechagodzilla on the ship?
No, on the ship in the aircraft carrier scene, I think that's all Mecha.
Exactly. Well, his breath when he's underwater and he blows up the ship, it's the same breath that we're seeing here in the second image.
No, it's the same breath as the one shooting the factory, and so are the dorsal plates. That's my argument. And the dorsal plates in this, the dorsal plates in the scene where he's getting where Kong's going after him with the axe, are the same color as the scene where he's in the city. And the dorsal plates where he's blowing up the factory are the same color as the dorsal plates when he lights up in the water. Now underwater, we can argue that left and right, but even the breath coming out of the water is the same, in my opinion, as the breath being shot in the factory. Where
it's way more turquoise than either of these two.
It is turquoise, and it's more it is turquoise. That's my argument. Is that is turquoise. So is the one where he's blowing up the factory.
The one where he's blowing up the factory looks blue and white. It does not look like the same color. The one where he's blowing up the ship almost has like a greenish tint to it.
Okay. But what I'm saying is the Godzilla that's firing at King Kong, or Kong rather, and the Godzilla's dorsal plates in the city where he's with the neon buildings are a darker shade of blue than those other two.
I think
That's
you can.
my
I think you can find a screenshot that will prove or disprove that, because, like I said, these things flicker. If you start it when he very first shoots this beam, they're super bright and they look exactly like they do.
They flicker, but the color's always been consistent. Even his blue, even this color, the color I'm arguing that is Godzilla, the one where, like I said, Kong's coming after him. That whole color scheme is in all of 2019. That whole darker blue. I don't want to call it dark blue. It's not really dark blue, but it's a darker blue than the other one I'm arguing. That color and the breath are all in 2019. That was consistent throughout the whole movie.
I disagree there as well.
Okay.
You're saying that so you're saying that the way the breath looks is consistent throughout the whole 2019 movie?
Not the way the breath looks, the color. I'm talking about the color of the spines and the color. Not the. I know that the breath different, especially when he got powered up, when he got jacked up. I understand that. What I'm saying is, and I know a lot of people brought this up too. I just want to, because I wanted people to know I didn't ignore this. I didn't bring it up because they've been very inconsistent with this too. Some people are arguing that the fact that his eyes are lit up and they're not lit up when he's shooting Kong, but they're lit up here, and then they're lit up in the beginning, but they're not lit up when he's in the city. But the eyes glowing has been fairly inconsistent because in 2019, you know, they not only glowed at the end, but they glowed when Monarch was when he was right in front of Monarch when they were underwater and he was doing the threat. So that's kind of why I didn't bring up the eyes, because I think that's just, he does it when he wants to do it, and that's probably what they're going at.
Also, that would go against the theory as well, because in the one of him blowing up the factory, he has eyes lit up, and clearly the one in the city is definitively the real Godzilla because he bleeds everywhere.
The one in the what? The one with the neon light buildings?
Yeah. The one with the neon light buildings.
You know, I don't think that's blood.
You don't think that's blood that comes out of his mouth?
No, I think it's just debris from the rock or smoke. We were looking at it yesterday.
Debris from the rock. He gets clocked on the head and it comes off his head.
Yeah, no, yeah, he gets clocked on the head, but I don't see no blood. Like we were looking, we were looking at this yesterday. We were going back and forth on it. Hold on, let me pull up because I have the downloaded trailer so I could like,
I'm skimming through it this whole time.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to downloads.
And this massive plume that comes out.
Now, to be fair, I don't know if you have one. I have a 4K monitor on the right side.
I do too. I'm looking at it on a 4K monitor as well.
All right. I just want to make sure because maybe I said to myself, "There's no way he can't see this color difference." I'm like, it's pretty obvious the color difference. But let me pull up where is it? The trailer here. Here it is. Okay. Let me just lower it. Okay, so you're saying that blood is splattering out when he gets smacked by Kong?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take another look at. Okay, here. No, that's not it. This is the one. This is just the scene I was talking about.
There's no way that's not
dark blue.
Okay, unless that's real flash.
Light blue.
That's the only shot right here that you're
blue.
going back. I don't know. I can't actually see what you're doing in real
time.
Okay,
we'll go over here too. We'll go over here. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, sure. Between these two shots, I can get it. But again, if you look at the shot of Godzilla shooting Kong in the city,
light blue. Let's go all the way to the end.
Bro, I have no idea.
Dark blue. Just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, here's the shot you were talking about. Okay, hold on. Let's bring it back. Okay. Smack. That is.
You don't see that
man.
right above Kong's arm.
Oh no, I absolutely see it. I just don't think it's blood.
What is it then? Rock? Where's the rock coming from?
From the rock?
What
like
rock?
Debris from the. He's hitting him with a rock, is he not? Or like a piece of building? Or
I don't see him hitting him with anything. I see him using his hands. He's got nothing in his hands. We don't see anything in his hands. Just because he's kind of doing this motion.
Hold on. I can't tell the way. All right, but even if he's using his hands.
Go back a second, really fast. Go back to that the bat shot so you can see what I'm talking about.
That blue right there, those streaks.
You see the blue streaks, how crushed those colors are.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is that this trailer doesn't have the greatest color grading to begin with.
I would argue more inconsistent than anything. That's the only reason I could see the difference in his color, in his dorsal plates and all that, is inconsistency on the CGI, because that,
Well, I don't even know
it's
if it's
pretty noticeable.
I don't even know if it'd be the CGI, but it'd be definitely the trailer, because again, if you go back to those King of the Monsters special features, if you do a side by side of the actual movie and the special features, the color's completely different. One of them, they're significantly more crushed. But also, that's totally
All right.
blood. That's got to be. He's not using anything in his hands.
Yeah, but why would blood come out looking like powder?
Because it's not like I don't think it's like a Shin Godzilla shot in the back with a missile amount of blood. It's just like getting the spit knocked out of your face.
But remember that scene where he's fighting the Muto in the first movie, and they're stabbing him. You see blood, and it gushes. It doesn't powder. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know if that's blood.
That's true, but there's also a ton of inconsistencies between Godzilla between the movies.
Well, yeah, that I can agree with. Like the size of his arms.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Dude, his arms have been inconsistent throughout this whole thing. That's why, like, yeah, that's part of my argument, but my main argument is different in color. Like, because I've seen his arms look big before, and I've seen his arms look tiny. And it just, it just looks, his arms have always been inconsistent.
I don't know. But I think we could go all back and forth all day on the color. I don't think we're going to get anywhere with that, because I don't think there's anything to it.
Yeah.
From a story perspective, there's a lot to say about why this shouldn't be or isn't Mechagodzilla.
Well, I don't think this one is. I think this is the real Godzilla here anyway.
I'm saying throughout the movie.
Throughout the movie. Okay, so let's get into that.
Yeah, well, okay. So let's just start out by looking at the beginning of the trailer, right? And it's Mechagodzilla running his ass through a city. What's the point of Mechagodzilla? Let me ask. What do you think the point of him is? Because if it's to frame Godzilla as evil, why are you destroying a city with him uncloaked?
Because the cat's out of the bag at that point.
Do you think that comes at the very end of the movie?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's in the beginning of the movie.
And where does Skin go? It just all fell off, or he took it off, or what?
Who knows? They could recreate what happened in the first movie. They could decide just to reveal him. That could be the scene where he's going after Kong and Godzilla finally. They've been beating the shit out of each other. They're both weakened, and now it's time to strike. I mean, think about it. If let me, because I don't want to keep going back and forth with this before I get smacked. Think about it. If they keep going, all right. So Godzilla just destroyed, with help or not, doesn't matter. He gets credit for taking out King Ghidorah. I think it's safe to say that probably shows people how powerful he is. I don't think they're gonna build a Mechagodzilla to go right after him. If right now, up to this point, the only weakness we've seen is the oxygen destroyer. It was a prototype they shot. We don't know if they have another one. And then furthermore, he still came back from that. So
I mean, I guess, yeah, most people probably don't know that he had help coming back from that. I think the dude building Mechagodzilla certainly knows he had help coming back from that.
If assuming Ren Sarazawa is the builder, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's certainly involved. He's standing right in front of his control panel.
He is involved. I mean, yeah, we just don't know for sure yet. I'm assuming he did build him. I agree with that.
I think he did. I think he designed him. I don't know what his intent was. Maybe it was malicious. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah. But I think he did build him.
Or maybe it was Monarch that started it. Maybe it was a Sarazawa project just as a safeguard. Although that wouldn't make sense narratively. And then he just took it and finished it for his own purpose. But my argument, here's the thing. A lot of people are saying Godzilla's going ballistic. Godzilla is under some sort of mind control. I don't believe that. I'm not saying you believe that.
I don't know if it's mind control, but I do think that he is pissed about Mechagodzilla. Whether or not, an orca is implanted in Mechagodzilla's brain that's tripping him up. Maybe they put Ghidorah's brain inside Mechagodzilla and so he can sense Ghidorah and he's going looking for where's Ghidorah. Or maybe he just knows. Maybe he just knows this Apex facilities, these things, they're building this thing. Because if you look at that cork board that probably is Madison Russell's, it's the only places Godzilla attacks are Apex factories. Why is Apex attacking themselves? What's their end game? Do they want to reveal Mechagodzilla to the world? If they're gonna try and kill Godzilla with Mechagodzilla, why would you attack yourself with Mechagodzilla?
But my argument is never that Apex was getting attacked by their own robot in disguise. My argument was that it was still Godzilla attacking Apex because he knew something was up. But
what are you trying to argue about
was
What are you trying to argue about the shot in the
Well-
factory then? Because that factory is an Apex factory. We can see Mark Russell walks past the TV screen that says it.
no, he walks past the TV screen that says Pensacola, Florida, but we don't know that that's where that shot comes from because that shot's at night. Pensacola, Florida gets destroyed during the day.
No. Let me see. Where is this shot?
Because for all we know, if what I believe that's Mechagodzilla, that could be a Monarch factory he's destroying.
Okay.
Because I think
says,
obviously Monarch and Apex are going to be at odds.
It says.
At least I think so.
It says. I can't read that. Godzilla makes landfall in Pensacola, Florida. Local Apex plant. Countless homes destroyed by Godzilla.
Are you looking at the pin board?
No. I'm looking at the actual news report Mark walks past.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up because I'm pretty sure it says.
Because I can't read this on my video.
I'm pretty sure it says Pensacola, Florida.
No, it
Hold
does.
on.
It does.
Okay.
It says. Here, I got the image right
Here it is.
Godzilla makes landfall in Pensacola, Florida. Local Apex plant, countless homes destroyed by Godzilla. So he makes landfall at a Florida Apex plant. We see him blowing up a power plant and
okay, but how do we know that this plant?
I was gonna say the other TV spot we have shows Monarch sets up a little outpost, a little like relief station right outside of City.
Yeah.
If you look at the city, it's a factory burning, and people have identified this as being filmed in Florida. They've identified the real city, so like people know where this takes place because it's a real location.
But how do we know that the next scene where he's blowing? How do we know that that's an Apex facility? We don't even know if that's Florida. That could be. I'm not saying it's not a factory, but how do we know that it's not a Monarch factory?
Because the chalkboard says that he's destroying Apex factories. Why is that going to lie?
Right. I'm not saying that the chalkboard doesn't say that. What I'm saying is, if my argument that this is Mechagodzilla, how do we know that what he's attacking right there is an Apex factory? We don't.
How do we know it's not? It's a factory. Okay, let's build up all the evidence. All the evidence is Godzilla attacks an Apex factory. It's stated in the news report. Godzilla.
Okay. Let me pull up the clipboard too.
We see a burning Apex factory in Florida. Then we see a shot of Godzilla destroying a factory in the trailer.
In Florida, we see more than a burnt up factory. We see like the whole landscape.
The actual city itself doesn't appear to be affected. If you look, it's only the left of the screen. It's in the left of the screen you see all the burning, because the actual city looks fine. If you look in the left of the screen, you can see that's what's burning, and that's the factory. You can see the big smokestacks.
Hold on, let me go through it because I keep forgetting where it is.
It's in the TV spot too. I don't know where in your folder, but it's in the second TV spot that got released.
Wait, it's not in the actual trailer? Why did I?
No, it's not in the trailer.
Oh, why did they not put that in the trailer? That doesn't make any sense.
There is some weird stuff that's missing from the trailer, like that shot of Madison picking up that Julian Dennison's character and them driving around. That's not in the trailer either.
Yeah, they're in the car together, I think, briefly in the trailer when she says that line.
Driving.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't in any way, shape, or form believe that there are not Monarch factories either.
I'm just saying, if all the evidence builds up, okay. All the evidence says so far that Godzilla is attacking Apex factories. Nowhere do we see any evidence saying that he attacks Monarch factories. So this is just like denial right here, bro. You're just like, no, it couldn't be. Couldn't be.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. I never said Godzilla, not fake Godzilla. I never said he would be attacking Monarch factories. I agree that Godzilla would be attacking Apex factories, but this shot, I don't think right here, the one we're talking about, even though I believe it does look like a factory, I mean, we could, let me go back. It's a little bit too ambiguous to know for a fact that it's the same factory or even the same location.
Well, sure, it's ambiguous as to whether it's the same factory, but why would you deny the connection if there's like all this evidence that Godzilla is attacking Apex factories?
I told you, I'm not denying that.
Why couldn't this be him attacking an Apex factory? And does Monarch even have factories like this? They have containment facilities, but they don't have factories.
how do we, if they were you just said earlier, they were the ones who actually started building the machine. So of course
No,
they're going to need
you
a
said
factory.
that. I didn't say that they built Mechagodzilla. You said that. I think Apex
You
Cybernetics built him. I
No,
said
but
I
you
said
said
it could be
earlier-
possible that maybe it was a Serizawa project. I don't actually think that. I'm just saying it could be.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
earlier
think it
when
is.
we were talking, you referenced the King of the Monsters, where it said that, where which I brought that up as well. I don't even agree that that's the right thing, because my argument was that the reporting in the story, that is not actual reporting in the story, the reporter they're referring to in that clip, in that paper clipping, could have gotten it wrong when he said that Monarch was building Titans or trying to build. But
I know what
earlier,
you're saying.
yeah, but earlier when we were speaking about it, you said that you believe that it's a project they might have started back in 2014. So I do believe Godzilla is attacking Apex. Now, could this scene be of Godzilla attacking Apex? Of course. I mean, if my theory's wrong, then actually it is. But what I'm saying is that this, even me saying this is a factory, I could be completely wrong, but it does look like a factory. And if I believe it's Mechagodzilla, it could be any fucking factory, because he's out there rampaging. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
But just because it could be anything, the evidence suggests that it is one thing in particular. So why would we deny the connection just so that we can support some?
I think the evidence, that's where it points to right now is the trailer. Yes, but I'm not taking everything I see here not 100% at face value, because we know that trailers can just jobble shit up. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I agree. You're right. It could very well be an Apex facility, and it could very well be the regular Godzilla attacking that. I'm not denying that one bit, but I'm also giving my counter argument that it could be anything that he's attacking. It could be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's to me, it would add up way too much. Like, I've seen so many trailers where it looks like one thing is pointing in one direction and then it completely shifts. How many people got fooled when everybody thought that the Hulk was in Wakanda and it turns out to be the Hulkbuster with Bruce Banner in it? You understand what I'm getting at? So,
but the Monsterverse outside of 2014 doesn't have a history of misleading in the trailers. King of the Monsters and Kong Skull Island were pretty to the point.
I was gonna say 2014 was
2014 was very secret.
Whoa!
Like, they had a lot of footage that's not even in the film, and they cut the Mutos out of everything. Yeah, not 2014, but King of the Monsters and Kong Skull Island.
Well, King of the Monsters went overboard. They pretty much showed the whole movie in a year.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying?
But that's my point. Is like, there's nothing to suggest that in the modern marketing team that they would go back to the old way of trying to mislead, or like what even. I still don't get it. Like, all the evidence suggests that this would be Godzilla blowing up an Apex factory. Like, we can be in denial all we want, just like we can say, like, oh no, Godzilla couldn't get hit by Kong because he's Godzilla, he's the king of the monsters. Of course, it has to be Mechagodzilla. Like,
well, that's a whole different argument. I mean, that is.
I'm just saying, like, all the
that's the silly Godzilla fans who think that Godzilla's like never died before, has never gotten his ass kicked before.
Exactly.
Believe me, I get it.
But my point is, we can live in denial about anything we want. Like, I could say that there's no way this is King Kong because Kong wasn't that big. This is clearly one of his ancestors. Like, I've got nothing to back that up. I'm just saying that. There's, like, well, you can't prove that it isn't a different Kong in the trailer.
Yeah, well, I mean, if people pay attention to the lore, they know that that's really Kong because he grew. All right, so he grew a lot. He's a big boy.
But my point is, you can deny anything all you want just for the sake of denying it to build up whatever theory. I could look at these clips of Kong fighting the Nozukis in the Hollow Earth and say that's got to be a flashback. That certainly can't be the real Kong. That's clearly a flashback to his ancestors. There's nothing to support
I mean,
that.
That's the whole purpose of theorizing off of a trailer that's 2 minutes, because at the end of the day, everybody. I mean, yeah, sure. Obviously, the chances of Mechagodzilla being disguised are slim to none. I get that. I always like taking the crazy side, because if it does happen, I look like a fucking genius. but realistically, yeah, I mean, of course, I do think Godzilla is attacking Apex. B, I don't think that if there were a chance that Mechagodzilla was disguised, I don't think it would be some sort of mind control. You know what I mean? Because
I don't think it's mind control.
Because if you can mind control the Apex Predator, then you don't need Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And then as far as that scene goes, yeah, it does. It definitely looks like a factory because that's what I said it was when I first saw it. Why Mechagodzilla would be attacking that if it was an Apex facility? Well, he wouldn't. I understand that, but I also know that the sequencing in that, and again, based on a lot of other trailers I've seen, when they're trying to, this is why I think the whole idea of people thinking Godzilla's evil is, even if my theory's wrong, it still doesn't stand because
I don't even think he's evil though.
I don't think so either. That's why like I keep reminding people, like in 2014, Godzilla killed thousands of people in that movie. Like
Godzilla arguably has as big of a death toll in that film as the Mutos do.
Seriously,
he wiped he wiped Hawaii off the face of the earth, and then he went and destroyed San Francisco or whatever.
I guess my question would be if Mark Russell's still aligned with Monarch, which I think strongly he would be.
Well, we know he is because he walks past their little Monarch water bottle, so he's clearly in their facility or their tent. Okay,
so if he's still with Monarch and that scene does stand, as you say, that it is an Apex facility being destroyed by Godzilla in Pensacola, Florida, why the fuck would Mark Russell give a shit that he's attacking an Apex facility?
Well, because we don't know what Apex is up to. That'd be like Godzilla attacking Tesla. Like maybe Tesla is building a Mechagodzilla with the bones of the old Godzilla, and it could be like a Tokyo SOS thing where Godzilla's pissed that his ancestors' bones are being messed with, that kind of deal. But we don't know what they're up to. Maybe Monarch might not know what they're up to. Who's to say that Mechagodzilla could be completely unrelated? And maybe that article in King of the Monsters was just bullshit because a lot of those articles were, Yeah. Even Michael Dougherty has come out and said,
won't come to pass either.
Yeah,
that's another thing I hope people understand.
Like Mothra is not going to be in this movie, guys. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but yeah, Michael Dougherty has said that not all of those were actual setups. Some of them were just for the fans. Some of them were hinting at stuff, but it's not going to be followed through with the way we thought it would.
The only thing I know for sure that he said was that Ghidorah's head would play a role.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I know he said it for fact.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see Alan Jonah?
No, I don't. He's not on the cast list. He was never rumored filming. I think they're just going to he's off doing his own thing. This character is taking over for him. He could be dead.
So what do you think? They're just going to do something where like Serizawa just bought the head off of him or something, or and they don't talk about it?
Maybe they're working for the same people. Because I really worry that what they're doing with this is like the most cliche thing you could do, where Serizawa's son resents Godzilla because my dad.
That's what I said. I said the same thing.
It's too cliche, but it's so obvious, and that's exactly what I think they're gonna do.
It is. I think so too, because we don't have. Somebody told me that in the books there's a little bit of context of Serizawa's family, but we get none of that in the movie.
There's one. It's when he goes to die, when he goes to sacrifice himself for Godzilla. There's one line where it's like a throwaway line where it's like, and then he remembered he'd never see his son Ren again. Yeah, and it comes completely out of nowhere, completely blindsides you.
Yeah, there's not enough. There's nothing, hardly anything about Ren. So for him to suddenly show up, I mean.
Right, and
that's the first thing I thought of when I even first heard of that like a year ago. I'm like, oh no, I said he's gonna hate Godzilla because he never got to see his dad.
And you know what I mean? There's this little heirloom. Not only is there Serizawa's watch, which is supposed to be a family heirloom, but in the book there's this mention of a Godzilla carving or something that's supposed to be passed down through the Serizawa family. And he has no interest in passing it down to his son. So clearly him and his son don't have a good relationship. That's the only context we get. And also, if you look at this trailer, I mean, the guy he's got stereotypical bad guy face. He's got that little evil smile, and he's standing in front of Mechagodzilla. So he's totally the bad guy.
Yeah, I overall though, I still think this is an outside shot. I really do, because I don't know. It's not only from what I see, but just my gut feeling. And I told people a long time ago, I said I was adamantly telling people we don't need Mechagodzilla. You don't want Mechagodzilla in this. If they put Mechagodzilla in this, then they better go all the way, because that's probably the last time, general audiences will go to see a Monsterverse. Now, I could be proven wrong, because obviously it's a very popular trailer right now, but some of that also has to do, let's take into account, some of that has to do with the pandemic. People are very excited for the blockbuster, and Wonder Woman crashed hard. It was really bad. So people are thirsting for a big time movie, but I will give credit because they did a good job with the trailer. It's very exciting. It is Kong. All right. It is the Kong. Look, I love you Godzilla guys, and I'm all team Godzilla, but let's be real. Kong has the highest grossing movie among the Monsterverse movies. Obviously, the general audiences here that are not big kaiju fans favor Kong heavily because he is an American monster. And so that obviously is going to help this movie a lot too.
Well, and take a look at like what did they greenlight? You know, they greenlit a Kong show. They did not greenlight a Godzilla project. And then, you know, you could say it's because of rights deals, but I would also argue it's because they know. You know, that would be better.
It's going to. I think it's a combination of both. I think it's going to be like you said because there are more general audiences will go to see Kong more than they would Godzilla, even though they know who Godzilla is. But it's like they also know he's a Japanese monster. Kong's their monster. Kong is more, you know, let's be real. All right, let's keep it honest. Kong is more in touch with humans. Godzilla is not. Godzilla on one hand will destroy humans, and on the next hand he'll like inadvertently defend them. It's not even like there are those.
He never does a good guy thing in the movies. He's
in this movie, yeah. In this series, he does not.
In the Monsterverse, he never does a true good guy thing. Because even in King of the Monsters, he's not saving anybody. Like, the only good guy thing that he does is doesn't blow up the submarine when he swims up out of the ocean. But even when he goes into Boston, he's wrecking buildings, and he's not trying to save anybody. He's just going after Ghidorah. He doesn't care if you get trampled while you're in Fenway Park in the process. That's not his business.
Yeah. That's why, but I do think it has to do with the rights, too. You know, I mean, I you know, do you really want to invest that much money for a Godzilla series? You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, I think it's going to fall on Toho if Toho wants to co-produce, and it seems like they do. So I think it'll fall all on them. Whatever they say goes at this point.
It's their property. So, but I do stand by my crazy theory that I do think there's I think there's some subtly differences between some of the shots I was talking about that I think there's a good chance. Not a good chance. So I think there's an outside chance, but. Personally, I believe it. Personally, I believe that it could be disguised.
What we can agree on is that Godzilla and Kong fight in the Neon City, which is Hong Kong. They fight in the Neon City.
I do agree with that.
We do agree on that. Okay, so narratively, you know, you have all this set up in the past movie. You have not only we have what's a king to a god thing. We also have the cave painting of them fighting. And now in this movie, we're told over and over again that there's an ancient war and that the two of them are just natural enemies and they need to fight. And Michael Dougherty also has come out and said that one of the reasons they will fight is simply because they're just natural enemies. Their species were never meant to coexist together. So what the hell is Godzilla doing through the whole first half of this movie? If he's, first of all, letting Mechagodzilla go around blowing stuff up, framing him, when we know from the King of the Monsters post-credits, Godzilla's going around trying to defend cities. Also, Kong gets brought off his island. What is Godzilla doing here? He's just going to let that... In King of the Monsters, he knew, even before Ghidorah was released, he knew that was going to happen. And so he headed right on over to Antarctica to intercept.
It, yeah.
How is he going to let Kong come out, and he's going to let a Mechagodzilla show up on this boat and fight him? How is he going to let all that... What's he doing during all this?
My argument is Mechagodzilla would be harder for him to detect because it's not an actual monster.
He's still not... Well... every monster could sense the orca pretty well, and he's going to be able to sense Kong. Well, I'm not saying he actually does. I'm saying that it's just similar like monster technology. But
I agree
how is he not going to go after Kong here?
Well, I do think he's going to go after Kong, but I think the reason I think, well, see, we don't even know if that's the beginning of the movie, but you know, we don't know at what point he takes Kong off the island, but obviously that's the first time Kong leaves Skull Island. Now, the reason I think it's Mechagodzilla attacking and not the real Godzilla is because I think that is going to be the match that kicks things off between Kong and Godzilla. See,
Why would you need the inciting incident if Godzilla and Kong already have this ancient rivalry history of war? Why would we need another setup to frame Godzilla as evil in Kong's eyes?
Honestly, because the Monsterverse has told me that there's inconsistencies. And while you're right about saying that, if we're now bringing in Mechagodzilla as a third party, you got to make some changes. Because if this is going to be Godzilla versus Kong, and it will be Godzilla versus Kong, even with my crazy theory, I think most of the fights between Godzilla and Kong will be the real Godzilla and the real Kong. I mean, excuse me, of course, the real Kong. In fact, my theory, even with my theory, I said that would be the only time Kong and Mechagodzilla meet. They would never meet after that, until the end, of course, when whatever you think, whether they team up or whether one of them dies, and someone's going to fight Mechagodzilla at the end, whether it's both of them or one of them. We know that. That's a fact. But because they decided to bring Mechagodzilla into a narrative that, as you said, is based on a rivalry. Because look, if you're going to have Godzilla versus Kong, you don't need Mechagodzilla based on the narrative. What's the point of bringing him in? But now he's there, right? We agree on this. He's there now. That's it. It's here. No matter how much we hated the idea, no matter how ridiculous it sounded, he's here. We got to fit him in somehow. So,
and I think they're going to fit him in the same way they doomsdayed Batman versus Superman. What I think is going to happen in this movie, here's my belief, is...
Oh, man, don't make it like Batman versus Superman.
I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be either. I don't want it to be either. Trust me.
Maybe that's why I'm hanging on to this theory, because I don't want it to be Batman.
Honestly, at this point, the only... Okay, there's a couple problems, is because, number one, I think we can both agree that Kong's going to lose his fight with Godzilla on the aircraft carrier. There's no way he gets out of that, especially when the boats get blown up and he has nowhere to go but the ocean. He's going to lose that fight, and it seems like his journey through this film is going to be he loses the fight, goes to the Hollow Earth, gets the axe, comes back, and makes a comeback. From a narrative perspective, it doesn't make sense to have a comeback story for Kong to lose if he's losing to the wrong guy in the first place. But
okay, yeah, no, I agree with that. But that's like why I'm saying, because a lot of people thought the same thing. Like, they think that my theory includes Kong fighting Mechagodzilla the whole way, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think that if my theory somehow comes to pass, I think that is the initiating fight, and that is to set up why. Now, you're right. They have established through the lore that Godzilla and Kong are natural rivalries. But my problem is, if they're natural rivalries, then why do you need to write Mechagodzilla into the story? Now,
which is where I think that what's going to happen is, this is my theory for the plot, is probably Apex is going to be building a Mechagodzilla to kill Godzilla. That's probably going to be their goal. And Godzilla's going to get wind of this somehow. You know, he can tell because he's Godzilla and nature's out of balance. He has this sixth sense like he had in King of the Monsters.
Right.
So he's going to be going after Apex, trying to stop that. Or probably, here's what's actually going to happen, is they're probably going to be messing with Ghidorah's head. So Godzilla knows this alpha stuff's going on. So he's looking for this Ghidorah signal. He's wiping out these Apex factories. Monarch's going to see this. They're not going to know what the hell's going on. They're going to think Godzilla's just destroying, these innocent factories or whatever. They're going to go get Kong and try and force Kong to fight Godzilla. Godzilla and Kong are going to fight each other, and Apex's plan, it actually goes better for them, because now if Godzilla loses to Kong, then there you go, they're good. If Kong loses to Godzilla, he's weakened, and now Mechagodzilla can sweep in and pick him off in the end.
See, here's the other thing that kind of, because now listening to what you have to say, the other question I have here, because before I was even I did another video talking about the more realistic theory, like if there's no, disguised Mechagodzilla. The other thing that confuses me is there's another sticky note on the clipboard that says link between Apex and Godzilla, then a question mark. And that kind of throws me off too.
That, I think, is suggesting that he's attacking Apex facilities. So there's a link to it. Like, it's a pattern. Like, why is he only going after... I think the one sticky note that truly throws me off, the one that I cannot explain, is, I guess it's maybe just speculation, because there's nothing else... I'm looking at the image right now. There's nothing else suggesting anything about it, because everything just says Godzilla attacking Apex facilities everywhere. The only one that throws me off is that says, what's next? Apex facility, government building, water facility, power plus mall, question mark? But they're all like question marks, so it's all like, what's he going to do after this? Maybe because he's gotten all the Apex factories, maybe because they just don't know. Maybe they're still connecting the dots, saying he's going after factories, but, maybe something else is up. That's the only one.
That clipboard could be very confusing, because all those question marks that are on the post-it notes, I mean, that can go in so many different directions until you see the movie. But I don't know. See, that's why that's part of my theory as well, is because, like you said, man, they are natural enemies. You don't need a third party, and now we do. And obviously you have that theory. My theory is just that he's going to be the catalyst to get them going. And do they need that? No, they don't. I agree with that. But he's there. And I'm like, on one hand, as a fan, I'm excited, because Mechagodzilla is one of my favorite enemies of Godzilla. In fact, it kind of flip-flops between him and King Ghidorah. On the other hand, I just don't think even with them tossing reality out the window in 2019, in my opinion, I still think this is too far. You know, like just. I still think it's almost too far. Like, okay, look, let's not get crazy here. I have another, like a third video I'm going to be doing next week. Another scenario where I just go balls to the wall. I'm talking aliens. I'm talking the gorilla people. I'm going to do that video.
I've actually seen a lot of the gorilla people are the people involved. I've seen a lot of that theory.
Oh my God, really? I haven't seen any.
I have seen a lot of it, but the question I would raise in that case is, wouldn't those dudes be Team Kong? Like, why would they not want Kong to win that fight if they're gorilla people?
That's so true. Now you're going to make it harder for me to do my video. I didn't even think of that, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Also, yeah, Go ahead.
Oh, you go. I was going to bring up another question mark about Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, it's also just this weird feeling I have that I guess, other than the evidence that I point out, whether anyone believes it or not, I obviously see something there. But beyond that, just the fact that they actually went this far, I said to myself, why stop there? Why stop there? Just pay homage. Just do it. Even if it's brief, even if it's for like the first 20 minutes of the movie and then something happens and it just, you know what I mean? Like it's a failed experiment. Like, why would they not? Okay, let's just forget the narrative. Why do you think they wouldn't go that far? Forget the story for a second. Say you're in the boardroom, you're a fly on the wall. We're bringing in Mechagodzilla. There's some people on the boardroom that are like, look, look, we stretched it with a 3-headed golden dragon from space. Why are we going to do a robot Godzilla? Somebody argues, oh, well, we had Pacific Rim and we had robots in Pacific Rim. We did that movie. It did fairly well, the first one. All right, but this is a robot version of Godzilla. Why are we building a robot version of Godzilla if these monsters are as intelligent as we have pitched them? Aren't they going to know when they see Mechagodzilla that is not Godzilla?
Or punch it,
That is a robot.
When you punch it, aren't you going to feel it?
Yeah, or whatever.
I think there's two reasons I think that this might have happened, and the first one goes all the way back to 2014. If you listen to those interviews with Gareth Edwards, his final pitch for he never talked about what his middle movie was, but he did mention that his third movie would have been humanity needs to build their own Godzilla. He wanted humanity to get to that point. So even in his, and we can both agree, Gareth Edwards is the most grounded director the Monsterverse has ever had, and even he was on board with going this far from the start. It was always his plan. And we have the rights. We got him for Ready Player One. We have the rights. Why the hell not? That's what people want. We got him. Let's do it. Because we're going to let those rights go to waste for 15 seconds of screen time? That's
true. That's true. Okay, so then why stop at just making him a robot and not disguising him and pulling a woohoo on people? Even if you're not going to have him fight, I mean, you wouldn't have him fight Kong I wouldn't do that even if I knew for a fact he was disguised, or if I was in charge and I made him disguise, I wouldn't make him fight Kong the whole movie. That would be silly. But why are you stopping and not going that extra mile for fans who may want that?
I like to think that they're a little smarter than that. First of all, I like to think that, I know this movie was kind of hard because it was like made in production at the same time as King of the Monsters, but like King of the Monsters was a little overboard on fan service, and I think that didn't help the film at all. And at this point in time, we have movies coming out, even when this was being made, that went overboard on fan service. And I like to think that they went, okay, Batman vs. Superman had come out by this point. All right, people don't want only fan service because it won't pay off. And also, because I still like to think that they have some semblance of like, this is too much. It doesn't make sense. How could they do this?
Yeah, but do you think it's fan service that hurt King of the Monsters? Because I thought it was over marketing.
I actually agree. I think what the problem with that movie is first of all, it was incredibly over marketed to the point where no one needed to see it, and everyone was sick of hearing about it because that's all they heard about. But also, I think the other problem was the movie relied so much on fan service that it didn't tell a compelling enough story for general audiences to care. The word of mouth is an incredibly important thing, and the movie didn't have good word of mouth. And I think that a lot of that was because they They're like, okay, well, people in the last movie, they complained about no Godzilla, so let's give them all monster stuff. You know, the movie is like, we have 5-minute intervals of human stuff that drags us from action scene to action scene. The movie's basically like a ride, and I saw it in Screen X, which is like all the whole room is the screen. It's a ride. The movie's an amusement park ride, and I don't think that's what people wanted. I think they were disappointed in that.
Yeah. See, that's interesting too, because even the first movie, see, I think even though people were complaining about not seeing Godzilla, I think the first movie, the way Gareth did it, is what actually helped it, because I didn't find, I mean, I don't know how you felt about the first movie story. I thought that story was mediocre at best.
I liked
You know
it.
what I mean? Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, it's better than King of the Monsters, but I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking. I thought what helped that movie was actually the very thing people were complaining about. The fact that they built up to Godzilla so well, and then you got most of them at the end of the movie with the fights, the atomic breath being used very scarcely. Like in King of the Monsters, he's kind of very liberal with his breath.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Gareth did an excellent job of building up to the atomic breath as this huge, big event in that scene in the movie, and it paid off brilliantly. So I think, and I'm not saying that what you're saying about the audiences is wrong either. I think it's probably a combination of the both.
Yeah.
You know, you have a slightly better story in the first movie. You have, even though people complain about it, I do think that what Gareth did in terms of how he presented Godzilla was actually worked better.
It's more satisfying. King of the Monsters, I don't think, is a satisfying movie because it tires you out by the end. 2014, you feel like you earned the ending, and so I think that's the impression people walked out of it with, is like, we earned it, and it, you know,
general audiences, right? See, because I mean, as fans, and I think everybody would agree in chat, you know, we've seen these movies so many times before the Monsterverse, over and over and over. So we're, and some of us, even me, some of us, let's be real, you know, depending on which movie you're watching, you'll fast forward to the monster fights. You know what I mean? Everybody's done it. My son does it. I've done it. So when you go to a movie like Gareth and you're itching to see the action, then you see Godzilla gets cut away, and then, you know what I mean? I didn't mind that because it made me feel like he was taking it more seriously, and I like that grounded approach. Then they go ham in King of the Monsters. I still enjoyed it because I got to see a lot of my favorite Toho monsters reimagined, and I love the fact that they kept the spirit of their designs while upgrading certain things. This movie, I'm at a loss. Like, I don't know if it's going to be more. I mean, it's definitely going to be more towards King of the Monsters. I think Kong is going to be a big factor in terms of the general audience being more pleased. Mm-hmm. But
and it looks like they gave Kong more of the emotional weight. It's also like, if you look at the trailer, it kind of looks like we're on his hero's journey. You know, he loses, it looks like, and then he goes down in this hollow earth and has to kick some ass and work his way back up to the top. So I think that's what's probably going to sell this film, is the Kong side of things.
Yeah, I think that's what they want to base it on, that, and then out of nowhere it'll be King of the Monsters, Godzilla. But what I want to say is, what I wanted to know from you, and I'm going to share my opinion first. I want to see how you feel about this. Because if Kong has the connection with the audience that Godzilla's not going to have. He's never had that. That's one of the advantages of Kong in every movie he's ever had. That is going to be a more heartfelt thing. So it makes the ending very interesting, because we did hear we were going to get a definitive winner. Mm-hmm. My belief is that the definitive winner will be decided before they both have to take out Mechagodzilla. In other words, let's say, for example, Godzilla wins, right? Kong is down. He fought his heart out. And then Godzilla's almost like laid out. Mechagodzilla comes in. He beats the shit out of Godzilla. He's about to give him the killing blow. The way I see it playing out, Kong makes a save, because that is where the fans are going to be like, yeah, Kong. Even though he just lost, there's still, because I told people, a lot of people asked me this in my last stream, and I told them, don't knock the idea of them teaming up being a bad thing, because at the end of the day, they want people walking out feeling good no matter which one of them lose.
Right.
And you can't end the movie with one of them losing. You got to end the movie with them both winning. So do you agree that you kind of see that playing out, where like...
Yep, I think that's exactly... And I've talked with some other people about some like ideas of what could happen. I think it'd be interesting if, you know, I know they're monsters, so it'd be difficult to do it, but like if Godzilla's whole goal is to hunt down Mechagodzilla, and Kong just winds up getting in his way, and Godzilla accidentally intercepts him, and then the two fight. And then in the end, for Kong to realize that Godzilla was right and justified in his search, I think that'd be interesting. If, like, let's say on the one hand, if Kong wins and then he realizes, and then now he has to fight Mechagodzilla and he can't do it, and so Godzilla has to save him. That'd be interesting. On the other hand, the way I would personally do it, and it's a little way too fan servicey, so I don't think this is actually what's going to happen. This is just if I got to do it. If I was going to have Kong lose, I would have Godzilla kill Kong, and then Mechagodzilla shows up and Godzilla can't take him on his own. And then I'd as a little tribute to the old film, I'd have like lightning striking, the city's, getting struck up, and Kong gets hit, and that jump starts it's like it jump starts him again. And so he doesn't get lightning powers or anything, but it's able to resurrect him, and then he sees what's happening and he's able to help Godzilla, and that's how they overcome their differences, is something like that. I think would be cool. But I absolutely agree. One of them is going to lose. Mechagodzilla is going to show up and going to... The winner of the fight's going to be too weak to fight him on their own, and the other one's going to have to get up and save him.
Yeah. That's and I think that's cool, no matter which way it happens, because at the end of the day, you kind of both win. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what they're going with. And I definitely think, because still a lot of people still asking about the lightning. I definitely don't think he's getting lightning anymore. He's got the axe. I think that's the equalizer right there. Dorsal plate. Remember, you didn't think it was a dorsal plate like 2 years ago.
I know. It totally is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Godzilla's. I do think it's from one of his species. I don't think it's his specifically.
Right. And I think it's really cool that he's able to block the atomic breath with it. It's kind of it kind of locks on to the dorsal plate. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting, that final blow. It kind of looks like they both like get tossed after
I noticed that too, because I think what happens is it just sucks up Godzilla's energy and then kind of explodes it out, and so I think Kong also gets blown up there as well.
Yeah, they both kind of fall back from that, man. It's going to be such a crazy movie to watch. I don't think we're getting a second trailer. Do you think we're getting a second one?
Yeah, I do.
You think so?
I think so. What I have a theory is that we'll get like little spots drop here and there, and then last month before the trailer we'll get another, or before the movie we'll get another trailer, because that seems to be
and if we do, it'll be a more Godzilla centric trailer, I think.
I
if we
absolutely
do get a second
agree.
one.
I think so for sure.
Yeah. Some
you can't
fans
have
are
two
so
Kong
upset.
trailers.
Oh my God, Kong. Yeah, no, but also the fans are going nuts. Some fans are going nuts right now. They can't handle the fact that Kong got so many shots in, but I liked it, man. I thought it was good. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. Everybody knows this, but man, don't sleep on Kong, man. That shot was good. The axe, and I told people, I said, look, even though another topic, and I'm glad I got you here because I want to talk about this one too. One of the most common arguments you hear is there's no way Kong could beat Ghidorah, and I'm like, okay, right. I agree with that, but one of my argument has always been it's about matching up. It's about matching up, and one of my arguments is that not only is Kong a lot smarter, Kong can learn from his mistakes, but Kong is a lot faster. And I think, considering they're going to have multiple interactions, I think Kong is going to get better as each fight goes. Like the first one, I could see him getting blown out.
I do think they're only going to have 2 interactions in the movie. I think it's going to be the 2 that we see. I think what's going to happen is they're going to fight on the aircraft carrier, and then they'll fight at the end of the movie in Hong Kong, and it'll just run through the day, because you also see shots of them squaring off in the daytime in a city's already destroyed by that point. So I think it's just going to run clean through the next day. Or those daytime shots, I think, might be tricking us, because I think there's one shot of Kong like squaring up, getting ready to punch stuff. I think that could be Kong getting ready to fight Mechagodzilla. And then there's that shot of Godzilla kind of roring at Kong when he's got the axe in the foreground. I think
there's 2 different shots.
They're 2 different shots. Lighting's different. It could be
very
that second
similar,
shot
but
comes at the end of the movie. Maybe that's after they're done. Maybe that's like them roaring at each other before they go their separate ways.
Now, do you think? Because I, again, throwing my theory out the window here, just talking generally. So if they have 2 fights, then you probably think that they each go one-on-one with Mechagodzilla. Do you think they both lose? I mean, they both have to lose those one-on-ones, right? Or do you think only Kong gets the one-on-one?
I think only Godzilla gets a one-on-one, because I think Godzilla's gonna win. So I think. Okay.
So then, all right. So if Kong and Godzilla meet twice, let's say the aircraft carrier, the end of the movie, right? Mm-hmm. In between all that, you just said that you think Kong will show down with Mechagodzilla once. He'll probably lose.
No,
You
no,
don't think
no.
they'll show down with the mecha at all?
No, I think Kong's story for the movie is, and it's hard to say because the trailer makes it sound like they're bringing Kong to fight Godzilla. But if you read the plot description that was posted by Legendary, it says that they're trying to bring Kong to the Hollow Earth because that's his home. So I think what's happening is they're trying to bring Kong to the Hollow Earth because they think it will solve whatever is happening with Godzilla. And I think Godzilla's going to intercept him on the boat, and they're going to fight, and Kong's going to lose and barely get away into the Hollow Earth. And then he will be down there. He'll fight the big war bats. He'll get his axe. He'll fight some probably other monsters while he's down there. And then he's going to climb his way back up, and he'll fight Godzilla in Hong Kong. And I think they'll lure Kong to Hong Kong because that's where I think Godzilla's going to be. And they'll fight in Hong Kong. It'll go through the day. Godzilla will probably win. Mechagodzilla is going to show up to clean up, and Godzilla's not going to be able to take him on his own, and Kong's going to have to show up and help out.
So Mechagodzilla. So basically, for you, Mechagodzilla shows up at the end as like a wild card.
I do think what they're doing with Mechagodzilla is he is what Godzilla's hunting down. But yes, I don't think Mechagodzilla is going to be doing much until the end. Because also, if you watch the beginning of the trailer, like, Mechagodzilla totally explodes out of that mountain. He's totally coming out of that mountain.
Yeah.
So, like, that seems like where they're going to release him from. And it seems like a pretty difficult task to hide him in a mountain and have him destroy cities all over the world, not even located in Asia. He's going everywhere to the US and, Europe and everywhere on that map. So I think what we're seeing is, Mechagodzilla is going to show up at the end. He'll wipe through the rest of whatever city he shows up in. He'll make his way to Godzilla and Kong, and then that will be his big moment. I do think that he's going to only have a fight scene in the end.
Interesting. Damn, that would be kind of weird then. Like, at what point would we even get any knowledge of Mecha G? Like, if he pops up at the end. See, that's where that throws me off.
I think Madison's journey is going to tell us, because if we watch the trailer, she's saying something's aggravating Godzilla that we're not seeing, or provoking him or whatever, and they're looking for him. They're going to go to whoever this Hayes dude is. I don't know who the hell that guy is or why they'd want his help, but I think they're going to go to this dude. That dude's going to help them look into Apex. I think they're going to discover Mechagodzilla, because you also see a shot of Madison standing in what looks like the room that Serizawa was in. So I think she's going to discover Mechagodzilla, and she'll put all the pieces together. But by that point, Godzilla and Kong are already beating the shit out of each other in a city, and at that point, she thinks she loses.
Yeah,
that's my guess. I don't know.
So in other words, what's really triggering him is not Mechagodzilla going around the world. It's Mechagodzilla in the process of being built.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
You.
I think it's
All
Mechagodzilla's
right.
nearing construction. Sense. Godzilla's looking for him, trying to stop, especially if the Ghidorah stuff is true. I think Godzilla's especially going to be trying to stop this Ghidorah stuff. And I think Kong's going to be brought by Monarch. Monarch's going to be like, all right, we got to solve this Godzilla problem, so let's get Kong to the Hollow Earth so he can take care of business. And Godzilla's going to not appreciate that he's off his island, and then Godzilla's going to detour.
Godzilla has a lot of reasons to be pissed off. Mechagodzilla, Kong's off the island. Do you think we see any cameo casualties from prior? Because I one of the things I thought would be cool, and looking at this now and kind of peeling the trailer apart, I think it's less and less likely. But one of the things I would have liked to have seen some of the Titans go to Skull Island and actually Kong kill one of them.
Yeah.
I would love that.
My pitch for the movie started out with, Ghidorah's mass awakening, but from Kong's perspective. And then you get to see, like, Behemoth show up on the island and those guys, and then Kong has to fight those guys. Because, of course, if you look at the King of the Monsters end credits, as Godzilla's sending them to Skull Island. So I think Kong... I thought it would be cool for the movie to open with Kong having to live with the aftermath of the mass awakening. And I think that would serve as like motivation for Kong to be pissed, because now Skull Island's getting, destroyed by all these monsters. He's having to fight them. It's also been said by Adam Wingard that Kong in this movie was going to be fresh off a lot of fights. I don't remember what their direct quote was, but it said, like, we're going to see a much more grizzled, rugged Kong who has spent a lot of recent time fighting. So I think he is going to have to be defending the island. I think the Iwi people will all die, and the only one that's left is that little girl. That's why she's orphaned. Yeah, Jaya. I think she's going to be the only one. And I think Kong's going to be pissed. Whoever this alpha is, they failed at their job.
You know what I told my viewers, I think it was last week. I said, because again, I still think there's an outside chance we might get at least a little cameo of Kong taking out one of the Titans. And I told him it would be great if they kick off the movie with Kong utterly eviscerating Rodan.
Yeah, I heard that theory.
You did?
I heard that video. I saw that.
Oh, good. Yeah, because it would be great. Kind of sending a message to Godzilla fans, like,
that would be
man,
rough.
I would love that.
To sit through. I think would more likely be as one of the other monsters. I don't think it would be Behemoth, because that monster, Michael Dougherty said, was specifically designed to be like, to look like a companion to Kong. So I don't know if they'd necessarily want them to fight, but I do think if you were gonna try and piss off some Godzilla fans, I think you would kill Behemoth. I think Kong would kill him. I don't think it'd be Rodan, because I don't.
He went back to Fuji Mountain, I think it was. Something that.
First of all, he does go. I think. Yeah, it could be Fuji. I thought it was Fiji or something. I don't remember where he goes.
It was something with an F. I know that much.
He goes to some volcano. So first of all, we know he's hibernating, but also, I don't think you'd want to do that with a Toho character, because you'd want to leave the door open to bring them back. Like, you could kill your own monsters and make new ones, but you can't make a new Rodan. You know,
right.
So I think for the Toho monsters, you'd want to keep them around. And Mothra is different because she dies all the time. She never lives.
She's like a phoenix.
Yeah, so you can kill her and then she can have an egg and it's whatever. But with Rodan is a different deal. And Ghidorah is also, he's the big bad, and his head can regenerate. So if they want to go that route in the future.
Yeah. It would have just been so sweet though, man. Because I know some G fans would have taken that hard.
God, that'd be rough. That'd be rough for me to sit through, and I'm Team Kong all the way. That would make me uncomfortable, especially with what you said with him tearing his chest off with his beak.
Yeah, it was so good. I know. Oh man, it's just good to have all these crazy theories and be so excited for this movie. I mean, I think the excitement level for this movie going around is probably exceeding 2014 at this point by far. Well, even 2019.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
The trailers, where were we at, chat? 40 million, a little over 40 million now views.
I checked today. It was like 42 or something. It's the 18th highest viewed video on Warner Bros. Channel ever.
Wow, that's insane. When you consider how many trailers they drop. Remember Gamera versus Rodan? Oh, you talking about the animated battle that we did years ago?
It's up another million. It's 43 million now.
43 million. So, all right. So that's what we have. We have D-Man is sticking to his guns and he's colorblind. Okay. So, but he did look, to be fair, he brought up a good point. That factory scene could very well be Apex, and why would Mechagodzilla destroy his own? So if he's right about that, that's a very good point. That is one I missed. So, but I'm still going to stick to my guns simply because I'm crazy. And because I just want to look like a genius if it does happen. But well,
the good news is, either way, one of us is right. So at the end of the day,
that's true.
One of us, this stream covered it. At the end of the day, this stream, we got the info.
Yeah, we did dissect it pretty big there. We did pretty much go through it. I think we both, D-Man definitely brought up a good point with that one scene. That's probably the one he stumped me on, because I was like, okay, it could be an Apex Factory, but it also could be Monarch. And it's like, okay, all right, I got you. But I'm still sticking to my guns on the color difference. That hand is looking funky.
The hand is not looking funky. I can see the difference between him in the city roaring and him blowing up the factory. I don't see the difference of him blowing up the factory and him shooting Kong.
So it's 1-1. He got me on the factory, and he does agree that there was a color difference, so we'll have to wait and see. But other than that, neither one of us we're both sticking to our guns here. Okay, he believes it's not disguise. I do. Realistically, no crazy scientist. If it is Godzilla Hoei, which it probably is, it doesn't fucking matter to me as long as I see it at this point. I just want to see how things go down. I'm still shocked they actually brought him in. I cannot believe it.
What would you think if it was, though? Because if it was Mechagodzilla, the rest of the movie has to kick so much ass, because that kills it right there for me. I can get over Mechagodzilla. I can get over them on a goddamn aircraft carrier. There's no way that would happen, but I can get over it because it's a cool shot. I can't get over the Mechagodzilla.
At least if nothing else,
this is stupid.
He's not cloaked. It's Ghidorah skin.
Yeah.
And it's grafted to look like Godzilla skin.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's why you see the jiggling, because it's real skin. Hey, they did it in the Terminator. They can do it here.
They did do it in the
Terminator came back in so
in the
that's
future.
arguments.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah, in the future. But we have that technology now in the Monsterverse because we have anti-gravity machines. All right. So the other thing is, damn, I was just gonna say something, and just regarding the movie in general, and I can't remember now. Damn it. Because I kind of want to get your perspective on anything. Because I know you're busy. I know you try to do videos when you can. I do watch your videos, but now that I have you here, I can pick your brain. I want to pick your brain as much as possible before I lose you for another month or so. All right. So
let me point out this isn't related to anything, but if it is Mechagodzilla on the aircraft carrier, this is the greatest con in the history of cinema. That's the Playmates toy box. That's not if this is the first promo picture we got for the movie and it's not Godzilla, that's the biggest long con anyone has ever done.
Also the first clip we saw.
It is the first clip and that was like all the footage we got for 2 years, and it's Mechagodzilla. That's the greatest plot twist they could have done, because
that's how you do it. That's how you do it. You kind of lead people astray.
People would be pissed. I think people would lose it if that's the case.
Even if it's only that one scene and he fights Godzilla the rest of the way. I
truly think people would be, because this is the first time they're meeting. That's the thing. If it was the second fight, if there was 3 fights in the movie and the second one was Mechagodzilla, but the first time Godzilla and Kong are meeting isn't even Godzilla, people would be pissed.
Let me ask you, but let's keep it real. Because I know you liked, even though I know you like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 74-1.
I love that movie.
You don't think for once you wouldn't? Come on, D-Man. Let's be honest here. Put aside the whole. Bring your fanboy out for a minute. If you saw in this movie Godzilla standing, and then suddenly the disguise comes down, and they do a Junkie XL rendition of bam 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 bam, you come on.
If they play that song, if they play that song, I'll get excited. Unless that happens, if that song's not coming out, I'm not into it.
That's all I wanted to know. That's all. Like Junkie XO kind of redoes it. It's
that song's too groovy. You can't not love that.
That Japanese jazz, man. You can't beat that shit.
Okay, wait. It's okay. So Mechagodzilla's hands are big and fat, right? How come Godzilla's hands on that aircraft carrier look skinny as hell? They look normal. Wouldn't they be big ass dome hands like he has it when he's?
What are you talking about? You talking about the robot Mechagodzilla?
No, I'm talking about.
You're
telling me that Godzilla's got big ass hands when he's blowing up this factory, and then you turn around and you look at the aircraft carrier, and he sure don't.
Okay, but at the same time, I said to be fair, in my opinion, they've been very inconsistent with his arm sizes anyway. You know what I mean? So I'll give that one up. Because I've seen movies where his arms look like this, and then suddenly his arms are like this, and I'm like, what? Even some of the toys are like that. Like, hold on.
His arms are certainly longer in this trailer than they were in 2014. I can't speak about the 2019 design, but
I don't know if you can see that. Let me put it on this camera, because that's the camera you're at. But I mean, I think his arms are fairly big there. But then some of the other ones, because my son has a lot of these action figures, they look tiny. They look much smaller than this. So they've been inconsistent with the arms.
Just the way he's holding them. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But it's that color, man, that light blue, which I think is going to turn red in the movie because they're giving us a Hulk moment. They're fooling us with the Hulk, and then we're gonna get the.
You know what? I wish you were right. Not that I wish it was Mechagodzilla, but I wish you were right that they would deceive us. I don't think they're smart enough or they care enough to do that.
Oh shit, that's fucked up. I know. Maybe I'm giving them too much. I did give them a lot of credit in 2014.
King of the Monsters. I was like, oh yeah, King of the Monsters. Some of this footage. There's no way this is in the movie. It totally was. That whole scene of when the teaser trailer very first came out, the whole scene of DC getting destroyed at Comic-Con. I was like, no way. That's either not in the movie or that's a dream sequence. But no, they don't hide stuff.
You really didn't think that's. You really didn't think that scene was in the movie? That destruction? I mean, come on.
The reason I didn't was because
4 monsters out there.
The reason I didn't was because it was too much. Like how, and even to this day, how did Ghidorah flood that city? He has storms, but like he caused that much rain, and it's not even raining in those shots. But it
Not
was
to
just
mention,
too
it
much
is more
destruction.
inland.
It's way more
it's not like
inland
DC
than anything we've seen before.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
seemed like
Yeah.
that one was a little too crazy for me. But yeah, the trailers they don't deceive us. Serizawa walks right up to Godzilla in the King of the Monsters trailer and blows himself up, and Godzilla goes burning mode in the trailer, and you watch Mothra die in the trailer. There's nothing in that
I
movie that wasn't
know.
and Kong Skull Island is a
I
similar
know.
case to where the human story of Kong Skull Island, genuinely, I had no idea what was going to happen. And it was like, they're going to go from point A to point B, which is what happens. I didn't know who was going to die along the way. Totally threw me off with the whole Jack Chapman stuff. You got tons of trailer footage of him walking around looking at shit, and then it's not in the movie. That's confirmed to be deleted scene, so that was actually going to be in the movie. It wasn't a 2014 situation. So I can't give them too much credit, but still, it was like, I had no idea what the human story of that film was going to be. But I had seen every single kaiju shot of the entire Kong Skull Island in the trailers. They show like 90% of the Kong stuff and the skull crawlers in the trailers. There's nothing new in the trailers. And so now, 3 movies later, I don't think they're hiding anything. I think they're just showing it. I don't think they're clever enough anymore.
I know what you mean. I guess it's a hope that there's still some kind of surprise. Surprises are good. You know what I mean? That's why 2014 was, while I love the movie, when I look back at all the videos I did and what I thought, I was like, man, it was just pretty straightforward. Although pretty much everyone picked up on the fact that Bryan Cranston was going to die. I hope they don't do that with this little girl. A lot of people think that she might die during that scene.
I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that.
Especially if my theory, and I guess maybe you agree with it, especially if the theory is true that she's the last of the Skull Islanders. I think that's so disrespectful to the Skull Island movie to just kill the entire natives off. Because then, first of all, you close the door to the future. You can't do much there on the island after that. I guess you could have people go there, but you just wiped out the native population. There's not as much fun stuff to do. And
I think that's why some people think that the show that comes out on Netflix will be like a prequel type stuff.
And you know what? I actually think it will be, because the plot synopsis they said mentions like a boat wreck on the island. You know, so it's like a boat wrecks there and it's about the crew. I think that's totally the boat that the Wanderer. I think it's totally the Wanderer, which is where all the Iwi people live.
Yep.
That wrecked ships. I totally
Not
agree.
to mention, it gives them an opportunity to bring back Marlowe, which was a pretty favorable character amongst fans from that movie.
I think it's before
You
his
think so?
time. Yeah, what I think it is the novelization and Jordan Vogt Roberts both. I guess the novelization hints to it. Jordan Vogt Roberts has outright confirmed it. That Wanderer ship that's washed up in the middle of the island that the Iwi live in, that's the Venturer from the 33 movie. And according to Jordan Vogt Roberts, the events of the 1933 film played out. A boat, washes, although in his version, a boat washes ashore. And he said the crew, unlike in the original, they don't get Kong off. They don't make it off the island. So I think that's probably the story
so
we're
he
going to see told.
So he did a different version of the original tale.
Yeah. He said, like, in his version, the boat we see that the Iwi live in, that's the boat of the 33 crew who never made it off. That's why he says that in like the commentary for Kong Skull Island or something. I think that's the story we're going to see told.
Right. So I wanted to go back to what I was going to say before when I lost it was about the aircraft carrier. Because I know how much you disbelieve that. But if you actually look, you got a little bit longer, obviously, in the trailer. That shit's going down.
It's teetering for sure.
Yeah, it's going down. So
I don't know if it's going down, but it certainly teeters with their movement. The reason I don't, obviously Kong throws Godzilla off, and then Godzilla blows it up, and it doesn't look like it's sinking when Kong's standing on there alone. So I think Godzilla's, if they were to both stay on there, sure, but they're clearly not going to be on there long enough to sink it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that fight turns out. Like, what's going to actually pull Godzilla off of Kong for him to get away? Because he's not going to outswim Godzilla. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he shoves his fist down his throat and chokes him, and Godzilla. I don't know, but I don't. It's good. It's hard to see how he gets out of that.
It could be.
You know what? I know how he gets out of it. Ren Serizawa decides to tell Mechagodzilla to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's one theory. There you go. That's one theory. That would raise a lot of questions if all of a sudden Godzilla just went, I'm done here. I've never not killed my enemy before, but you know what? I'm going to go swim away. I think Monarch would be like, wait a minute.
That's where all the suspicion starts.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think what's more likely is if you read that plot synopsis, that legendary post, it says that the Hollow Earth is Kong's true home. I think he's gonna get like sucked down into a vortex and fall into the Hollow Earth or something, and Godzilla's just not gonna chase him down there because that's not his.
Oh, he probably thinks he's done for.
Well, I think
when he
either
goes down there.
Godzilla thinks he's done for, or Godzilla knows that's his place. I think it will be like Kong should live in the Hollow Earth and Godzilla should live on the mainland. And so Godzilla's going to be like, he's already home. You know,
He's where he's supposed
he's
to
where
be.
he's
I'm not
supposed
gonna.
to be. It's not my problem. He's where he's supposed to be. And then I have a feeling that the movie will probably end with Kong opening up a big vent on Skull Island so that he can go in and out when he needs. But I do believe that the movie's going to like build up to the point where they're both kings. Kong's King Kong and he's Godzilla, king of the monsters. And they're both kings together. But Godzilla's the king of Earth and Kong's the king of the Hollow Earth.
Oh, there you go.
Because that way
There's
you
some
can have both people win. You know, you got the fans can get
Yeah,
their
well, that's what I
titles.
was saying. That's why I think the ending's going to be the way it is, because you need to have the audience leave on a
Right.
high. You know what I mean? You don't want, because if they both fight Mechagodzilla and then they turn around and stomp each other out and then one of them wins,
That would be the best thing they could ever do. If Godzilla and Kong team up to kick the shit out of Mechagodzilla and then just don't stop and they fight each other. And
Yeah.
you know what? You know what would be the perfect way for me to end this if I have to have Mechagodzilla in here? I would have Godzilla and Kong fight, and one of them, Godzilla would beat Kong, and then Mechagodzilla would show up, and they team up to fight Mechagodzilla, and then they keep fighting, and they tackle each other into the ocean, and Godzilla never rises, and Kong swims home.
Oh,
That's how I would
my
end it.
God.
just to say, you know what,
God.
they both win if you want to go that route, or maybe they didn't. Who
Now
knows?
that's a major troll. The
That-
G fans
that
would be
would-
so.
yeah.
He swam. You're gonna hear this for years. He swam away. He didn't lose. He swam away. Oh my God, that would be that. That's actually funny. I didn't even think of that. That would be
That'd
funny
be
if they
my
did that.
ending.
Oh my God, he would just have so many lulls for that movie, man. There is and I've said this many times. I've been on record saying this many times. There is a small part of me that wants Kong to win just to see the tears. There is, and I do naturally root for underdogs. I just can't turn on Godzilla because I've been rooting for him for so long. But I got to be honest, man. If Kong comes out and wins, I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to be sitting here with my cup waiting for all the Godzilla teams to come in because, man, these guys have been talking so much junk. And I did some trash talking last week just because I haven't all this time. I've been very objective. I've been very fair. But we had a stream last week where there was the Kong fans went a little nuts, so I had to put them in their place. G fans got swell-headed. They started coming at it, and I have both cuts of that on my channel. I have two. I have one video, the roast of Kong, and then I had the other one where I'm like, got to put G fans in check. But man, if Kong were to win, I wouldn't be upset. As long as it's a fun fight too. As long as it, that's really what it comes down to.
That's how I feel. As dumb as I think a team up idea is, and if Godzilla wins either way, as long as it was cool, as long as it was cool enough, I'm fine with it. And it's in like Godzilla, it's like he's still my favorite fictional character ever. I still love Godzilla. I like the Kong of the Monsterverse more than the Monsterverse Godzilla, but especially now that Godzilla, if he's acting a little bit more like a bad guy, that's how I like Godzilla. And so, it's like I can get over. I like Godzilla. I'll let him win.
Yeah. I'm
He's
not gonna
totally
lie.
cool.
I am looking forward, be it theory right or not, seeing Godzilla wrecking a city. I have been itching for that.
We need it in a Hollywood movie. We've been deprived of it. We've never gotten the proper Godzilla. Even in '98, he runs away. We need
that
Godzilla
long
blowing up the
shot.
city.
That long shot of his sweeping his atomic breath across. We need that long shot of him, towering over the city as buildings fall. We do need that. That's one thing I got to say, that as much as I love the Monsterverse, the fact that we have not seen that, the fact that we've only seen it happen as collateral damage, not direct damage. Okay, but that purposeful attack on the city, man, we need that so bad. So I'm going to be very happy to see that one way or the other. I can't believe. I can't believe this movie's 2 months away.
I know it's insane. We all knew that it was going to have to happen once they moved the date up, but like, they really kicked stuff into gear, and it's just nuts to think how close we actually are to it.
Now, are you still disappointed with the fact that they moved it up now after seeing the trailer and all this? Because I know initially you were upset about that.
I
Like
think
you were
it's
really like upset.
I think it's the wrong move. But I don't think there's a proper way to do it, because you could move it the way I wanted to move it, and now you got all the competition in the world, and every movie comes out later. I do think the movie isn't going to make as much as it would have in a pre-COVID world, but we don't live in a pre-COVID world, so the day and date stuff, that's probably the best way to release it, is day and date. I think that was the right call. March is still super questionable for me, especially because international doesn't have theaters. You don't have theaters in Asia. You don't have theaters in I don't know if China has theaters yet, but you don't in Japan. You don't in the UK. You don't have HBO Max overseas. It seems like it's limiting the audience like crazy. I don't know why you would do that.
So your hope was that maybe in May, by then some theaters would have been open.
My hope is that in May because the vaccine's rolling out, and because it'll be summer, and so it'll be hotter, and they say that COVID's supposed to be worse in the winter. My hope was the movie would come out when enough theaters were open internationally for the movie to get seen overseas. But they didn't do that, so they're gonna have to work out some streaming deals quick, because they have not announced.
You know what I think is a silver lining here, though, considering how well the right now the buzz. I mean, the buzz for this movie is insane.
I
think that's the silver lining, that even if they don't make the money they want to make, they're gonna it might motivate them to give it another shot when things do calm down. Because I know that's a big question now. Will the Monsterverse continue? I was always of the opinion that it would, not necessarily in the movies, but on TV shows. We already know now that that's going to happen one way or the other. That doesn't confirm that they won't go with movies, but what I'm saying is, if we do get another movie, it may very well be the buzz the last couple of weeks leading into the movie, and of course the movie doing well, that gives it another shot. So I think that's the silver lining here.
There are a few. I think there are a few silver linings. First of all, is this movie is coming out alone. We don't have the Snyder Cut is the only competition, and that's been said to no longer be a show. So it was originally supposed to be a 4-part series. Now it's said to be a 4-hour deal. So that's only 1 week.
Holy shit, 4-hour movie.
4-hour movie, yeah. So it's said to be 1 week, and it comes out, and Godzilla comes out the week after that, which gives us a really good place to sit, because that means all the DC fans are going to have Max by then. They're all going to need it to see Snyder Cut. And then 1 week later, they're not going to cancel their subscription. Even if they do, it won't go away in 1 week. The movie will be free for them, so they can watch it. And it's coming out in such a free, clear market that everybody wants it. I've seen people calling this like the vaccine of blockbusters, because it's the only one coming out in first quarter 2021. I think this movie is in an interesting position to where it's alone. It's all it's got is itself, and so I think that's gonna help it.
And if the movie does do well, if the story is good enough, it doesn't have to be great. I think it has to be equal, or it has to be on par with or better than the 2014 story. I think Kong is a big factor to bringing in audiences. We've seen that statistically, that's a fact. There's nobody that can deny that, no matter how much you might hate Kong. Godzilla, of course, being the internationally known monster he is. Action, blockbuster, people are thirsting for it. Wonder Woman was a letdown. Like you said, Snyder Cut is leading into it. So people are going to have their subscriptions. So, I mean, so when you really think about it, it may not have looked like a good movie. I was indifferent. I was like, I don't care. One way or the other, whether it was in May or was in March, I'm ready to see the movie. But I think after the trailer that happened, now I think the silver lining is there, so I think you can feel better about it.
The reception to the trailer helped, and then there's some other stuff that helps go along with it as well, such as like the way they're doing the box office multiplier with Warner Bros. Every dollar made in theaters is $2 made, and so whatever the movie does, it's double the success according to them, and the Max numbers are going to help, and I think there is a lot working for it, and there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. But either way, I think there's a lot working for it. I did hear that it wasn't an innocent move. They didn't move it innocently. Like there was some sinister motives to squash the Snyder Cut because there's so much controversy around it that they wanted Godzilla to come out around the same time so that the controversy could be minimized and that Godzilla could kind of take the spotlight.
Yeah.
And so
what was the controversy with Snyder Cut though?
Well, there's a lot of like studio controversy over the producers of the movie firing Zack Snyder and him having to come out and say like, "Oh, I walked away from the project," but surely he got kicked off of it. And so there's like controversies over, well, they kicked off the director, and so that wasn't a director-driven studio like they always claim to be. And also there's a whole bunch of Ray Fisher drama. I couldn't even begin to
I know about the
explain
Ray
it to
Fisher
you.
drama, yeah.
I've never looked into it, but I know that he is so anti-Warner Bros. That they were very much looking to not give them the spotlight, not give the Snyder Cut the spotlight because they wanted Godzilla vs. Kong to
get the spotlight. And it worked.
And it did work.
Yeah, it did. So concerns now. So what is your concern about this movie, both from a business standpoint and narratively?
Narratively,
Mechagodzilla in disguise.
Yeah, that's the concern. Because honestly, everything else, I think the trailer itself kicked a lot of ass. I think that the visuals really looked fantastic. I think the story looks serviceable. It looks good enough. It could be great. Who knows? I think that there's a lot of stuff that works. Mechagodzilla has me really worried. That's truly the only aspect of this story that I'm genuinely worried about. Is
disguised or not, he's a concern.
Disguised or not, he is what concerns me about this movie. From a business perspective, it's the overseas market. You're limiting. You don't have international theaters. You don't have HBO Max overseas, which is why it really is insane to me that they would go this route. If they went PVOD, it would be a totally different story, but they're not even doing that overseas. We don't know what they're doing overseas. They haven't said anything. So who knows? They just say theatrically overseas, but not all theaters are open. In fact, most aren't. So who's going to be seeing this movie? That's what worries me from a business perspective.
I'm wondering, sometimes these businesses do an insane amount of market research. And I've heard that if you have a VPN overseas, you can do that, get HBO Max. And I'm wondering if that's something they're taking into account. You know what I mean? I'm wondering, because sometimes these companies do market research. It's not research that they necessarily release to the public, but I'm wondering if they're looking into that and saying, you know what, even though the theaters are closed, if there's enough people out there who have VPN access that might sign up for HBO Max through those means. What do you think? I mean, it's a pretty wild opinion, but I think it's a sound one,
I don't know if that would be enough to sell it, because at that point you're kind of getting into the same territory as like day one HD pirating. Here in America, we're going to get day one HD pirating, and so overseas they could get the same thing. So you wouldn't actually need Max overseas. If you were that committed, you wouldn't need it. I think what they're going to do is the same thing they did with Wonder Woman, which is negotiate individual deals. So like this streaming service gets it in the UK and this one gets it in Japan and this one gets it where, and I think that's what they're going to do. It's just the fact that they've done none of that yet is what worries me. I know someone in my chat saying Asia theaters are open, but Japan isn't, and I don't.
I was going to say, because I know Wonder Woman did release out there, but it didn't do well.
No, it did horrible. It did really bad overseas.
And then it didn't help that it was such a bad movie too.
I thought it was a mediocre movie.
VPNs was.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was horrible. Oh, I was so disappointed because the first one was so good.
I didn't think the first one was that good either.
It was. Really? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I like the first one a lot. The second one, I'm just completely like the opposite. It's like so bad. My concern with this movie is the Mechagodzilla aspect. I've been very against that for a long time. When I found out he was in the movie, I was like, I can't fucking believe this. It's almost like I talked it into being. I was like, I can't believe this. And so, aside from my crazy theory, there is a part of me that wishes he wasn't in there because the dynamic should be Kong and Godzilla. But at the same time, the fan side of me is very excited because it is Mechagodzilla. But I think that is the wild card. I think the Mechagodzilla is either going to work really well and people are going to love it, or it's going to bring the movie down. And that is my concern from a narrative standpoint. From a business standpoint, I'm not as concerned because I think these studios are aware that I think at this point, their goal is not to lose money. So they're going to try and maximize not necessarily profits, but maximize mitigation against losing money. I know and I know that some of their actions maybe counter that argument, but I also believe that they've been sitting on this movie for so long. I mean, we're looking at several delays leading up to this point. I know they delayed it a week, but I don't count that. That's only a week. And I think that's at this point, it's just like, all right, let's get it. I don't think fans had anything to do with it. I know there's some people that thought that they're shouting, but that had nothing to do with it. These guys have been depriving you this long of a trailer. Believe me, they care, but they don't care to the point where I just think the reason they never got a trailer is because they didn't know what they were going to do with the movie.
That's exactly
until
what
they
I've
made
heard.
Until they made a final decision of what they were going to do with this movie. Like their final decision was March, and then what was it? A week later, we got the trailer right away. Right away, it came out.
And then they moved it again.
Yeah, they moved it again. It's funny because I saw your video and you were like, there's no date at the end. I wonder if it's going to get moved again. And and then like a day later, March 31st, I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. I'm like, yep, there it is.
I thought that was super weird when I watched that trailer.
Yeah.
No date, huh? And I've been saying for a while, I was like, I don't actually think this March date is as set in stone as we think it is. I think that that's just a hope. And it appears that they clearly... They only moved it a week, but it shows
luckily
that
it was
open.
only a week. Yeah. Luckily it was only a week. So, well, I mean, I know you're live on your audience, so I'll let you get back because I've been ignoring my chat room long enough. But we had to, for those who just got here, we had to debate. Interesting discussions. He brought up a very good point that stumped me at one point. Once again, the factory. I did point out the color differences, and initially he was against it, but then he kind of saw it. Obviously, neither one of us are convinced with each other's argument. So it's a 1-1 debate. I think we can agree there. And chances are I'm wrong. I've admitted that already. But I like to be wild because if it does happen, then I look like a fucking genius.
Well, hey, you're talking to me and I'm on Team Kong, so I know exactly how that feels.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And but otherwise, dude, I'm glad you got on here because I wanted to do this at least once before the movie. And hopefully we can do it one more time before the movie comes out. But certainly we have to do this after the movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Really kind of talk about what we saw. I know a lot of you guys like when we get together. I love when we get together. I love talking to you. You know that. I busted your chops leading up to this. I gave him a hard time. You guys know it. I gave him a hard time. But I was fair. I did warn you. I did warn you before I did it.
You gave me like
warn him.
a couple hours head start. I told my brother, I was like, that son of a bitch just got me.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about that. I was like,
look,
'cause
man,
on the one hand, if I don't, now it's all on me. Now I just look
that's
like
why I did it. So, but not, dude. I'm glad you took the time to come on. I'm sure everybody appreciates it. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. You know, you guys. I'm not even going to say subscribe to him because chances are you are. We kind of share a good portion of each other's audience. So, but dude, man, I'm glad you came on. Thanks for your insight. You almost convinced me, but I got to stay with the mad scientist approach, man.
You want one more piece of evidence?
Okay, here we go.
He
wants to go up 2-1 before we
look at 220. Look at 220 in the trailer.
Okay, 220. Let's pull up 220 real quick.
I don't know if yours is gonna 100% line up to mine, but it's a shot of Kong right about to bring the axe down on Godzilla's face.
Okay, let me get to my download folder because that's where I have it. Okay, did I have this muted?
I
okay,
never noticed that eyes thing until you pointed that out to me. That is super weird that they wouldn't be consistent with that. That seems like a very easy thing to not mess up.
Yeah, like I said, there's so you said 220, right?
Yeah, it's at 220. Did you see that? Did you see that video I posted? My last video about Godzilla hurting people.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pause this so that way when I let go, it doesn't.
It's right before this.
220.
Maybe your 220 doesn't line up with mine 100%. We'll see. It's before he hits him.
Okay, so like right before, right
there. That shot you paused it on was good. Right before he hits him.
Okay.
Look at Godzilla's gills. Look at his neck here, and you will see the exact crushed blues I'm talking about. You actually can see them on his back too. The mega dark crushed blues, because this trailer's color mixing was not very good.
You did mention in your video too that you thought his dorsal plates were kind of damaged here.
Yeah, it's like not in this shot, and it's in the wide shot, but you can see like if you look at the very bottom.
Yeah,
the bottom
even
of his
the
dorsal
tip
fin?
of the center one looks like it's gone.
Yeah. See, from the center one down, you can actually it looks like they've been chipped a little bit. And my theory is that Kong is using the axe to chip the fins because he's trying to stop Godzilla from shooting his beam. That'd be my guess.
That's smart. Yeah, that's smart. Well, that's that intelligence factor we were talking about. You know, no other monster's ever gone after them.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, the Muto Prime did, but that was more of like a.
Right. Yeah, I gotta go back and read that. I have all the books and only I've read some of the 2014 ones a long time ago, so I don't remember much. But yeah, man, this shot is just so incredible.
Yeah,
Look at that.
it
Look at
really
that. My
is.
God. Look at that. And you can see Kong flying back. You can see them flying back after that too.
Yep.
I mean, it's
I'm
just an incredible shot. I can't wait to see this, man. This is gonna be so good.
very
God,
excited
look
to
at
see
that.
it.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
And that shot of
So
Kong's face, that close up, I can't get over how good the special effects look.
yeah, well, that's the thing too, because you were also saying there's some parts where the special effects you think are shoddy. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see if it is inconsistency. You know, that'd be kind of disappointing if it was. You know, you would
King of the
expect them to.
Monsters, I think, has a mix of some of the best stuff we've seen and some of the worst stuff we've seen in the Monsterverse. I think they've already been inconsistent.
Yeah, well, especially with some of the close-ups too. A lot
Yeah,
of the
like
people were
close-ups of
complaining about the fighting
Rodan.
underwater.
Oh, the
Yep.
fighting underwater. Yeah, that looked rubbery. It looks rubbery in King of the Monsters at times. Like Rodan, there's close-ups of his face that look really rubbery. But then you got shots of like Godzilla shooting his beam up in the sky when he rises up from that boat, and it's the best we've seen Godzilla in the Monsterverse. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
There was some people criticizing the fact that they did it again in this movie, but
I think it was
come
just
on.
this movie pays tons of visual tribute to the other films. There's like, you got the Kong handprint and there's some other stuff in this trailer I could have to look through it to find it, but there's like tons of little visual references to the other films. And the Monsterverse
Yeah.
is also like strangely one of the franchises that loves itself the most. Like all these movies pay tons of reference to themselves. Like King of the Monsters has
yeah.
many moments that call back to 2014. Jordan Vogt Roberts in the commentary for Kong Skull Island talks about how he modeled some scenes as like fake out scenes specifically to mess with people because he thought that 2014 was so funny. So like these movies love each other and they're just constantly paying tribute.
they're all having fun with it. So, all right, man. Let me let you get back to your chat. It was a lot of fun debating and
For
talking
sure.
and going through the trailer and all these theories. You know, a lot of people have been wanting this, and I've been wanting it too. So, I hope you're doing well in school. You know,
Oh, thank you.
you know, so I hope that's going well for you. And I know it's tough. You know, I was just giving you shit earlier, but it is tough. It tried to, and like I said, it was a true story. I was actually during my capstone, I was actually going through a divorce, my first marriage. So
Not
yeah, not fun at all,
Yeah.
man. But look, man, you have a good night, man. Thanks for coming on,
too.
and we'll definitely get together soon, bro.
You too. See ya.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too. All right, guys. Let me get my camera on. This one should be the right one. Nope. Hold on. You can't see my... you know what? My camera's not going to activate. My camera's not going to activate because I have OBS opened first, and for whatever reason it loves to do that. Let me try this. Hey! That worked! There I am! What a twist. I have to keep these in so you guys can't hear Rob. I guess I can mute him. There we go. He's muted. There you go, guys. You guys still here? My chat's frozen. Am I frozen? Can you guys still see me? I can't see the chat moving. Am I still here? Am I talking to nobody right now? Oh, the chat's not moving on my screen. Consistency is awesome. I agree. Must be like a massive delay if you guys still... There has to be a massive delay for you guys to still not be caught up. Alright, I can't hear Rob, but I'm going to type in his chat and let him know. There was some other stuff that I didn't talk about from a business perspective, how it doesn't make any sense for it to be Mechagodzilla. Because you wouldn't... I got a ton of super chats. Alright, I wish... Surely there is a way to let me see them. Okay, I got it pulled up. Cool. Thanks, guys. I will go through your super chats here in a minute. But, yeah, from a business perspective, and I could have brought this up, but I didn't because the conversation didn't naturally go there. But, damn, you guys are so far behind me. The reason I didn't bring it up is because we never got there normally, but you won the debate with Rob. Because he's devil's advocate, I suppose. But the reason I didn't bring it up is we didn't get there naturally. But the argument is that from a business perspective, it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's called Godzilla vs. Kong, not Godzilla vs. or Mechagodzilla vs. Kong. You know, if it was Mechagodzilla vs. Kong, it would totally make sense for it to be Mechagodzilla. But the fact is, you're promising to deliver on Godzilla vs. Kong. And yeah, you could say it's to do the plot twist. You know, it's to pull the rug out from under the audience. It's to get the audience that way. I don't think that's what they're doing here because it's the Playmates image, right? The shot of them on the aircraft carrier is the Playmates image. It's the first thing we saw. It was the CCXP 2019 test reel. Why would they start the test reel with Mechagodzilla? I guess maybe they always knew that they were going to build up to this. But the test reel footage, the first stuff they ever made for this movie, you're telling me that was Mechagodzilla? I just don't see it from a business perspective. And I think they also are smart enough to realize that if you go the route of Mechagodzilla vs. Kong, you're going to really upset people. People are going to really be upset about that. People are not going to be happy that it's Mechagodzilla. I think general audiences will feel cheated. Fans will certainly feel cheated. I will feel cheated. I'm sure some of you guys will. I know some other fans are a little bit, they like Godzilla a little too much, and so they'd be upset if Godzilla gets hit by King Kong at all in the movie. But hey, you know, Ghidorah killed him, and so without Mothra's help, Godzilla would have lost that fight, so you can do it again today. Lots of delay tonight. I noticed a little bit of that during the stream with Rob. It felt like I was talking over him at times. And there was clearly a delay. Like, he clearly couldn't hear when I was talking as I was saying it. Are you going to do a video for Shin Ultraman? I sure will. I'll review that trailer. Well, that'll be the next video I make. I want to talk about that. But let me go through the super chats and then I got to end it here, guys. And I got other stuff to do. Got Ultraman stuff. So, you know, I got to end it here. But let me go through the super chats. Execute Order 69. Thank you very much for the donation. He says, imagine revealing the one image they've been using the whole time was actually Mechagodzilla. Bull. Godzilla also isn't smaller. He's hunched. We're getting it. We're getting when getting hit. Yes, thank you. That's exactly what I was just saying. It doesn't make any sense to advertise the movie with this image and then it to turn out to not be Godzilla. That doesn't make much sense. They would pick an image from Hong Kong if that was the case. Surely. I can almost guarantee it, in fact. They would pick an image from Hong Kong. They fight in the daytime in Hong Kong. They would just go with a Hong Kong image if that was the case. Godzilla and Kong is meeting on screen is too sacred to be a moment of fake out. I agree. I agree. You can't cheat audiences like that. But yes, yeah, that absolutely is the case. Order 69. You can't market the movie with the one image that turns out to not even be Godzilla, because even the banner is the same image of the aircraft carrier shot. It's the same image. It's just on a banner, and that's the difference. You can't market the movie on a false lie that hard. Especially in a post-Last Jedi world. You can't get away with it in a post-Last Jedi world where we've seen what happens. In a post-Game of Thrones world, we've seen what happens if you fake out audiences that hard. It will backfire big time. Ash Simmons, thank you very much for the donation. He says, at 2:10 Godzilla trailer, you can see King's axe lodge into a building, maybe indicating Kong's money shot is the first blow of the final battle. Speculation at 2:10. Let's see if I don't know what you're talking about. 2:10. Yeah, I do see that. In the background behind Kong, I do see that, actually. I totally see that when Kong punches Godzilla. I don't know if that's what that is. It could just be, the axe is there. Or fire, I mean. It could just be fire. Or it could be the axe, because I don't see the handle for the axe, but I totally see what you're talking about. Let's see if I can pull up an image of it. Let me see if I can see a trailer. Trailer 1. 210 is when Kong is clocking Godzilla right in his big old head. The shot should do it. Alright, this one should be the one. Yeah, you can see it. Here, I'll zoom into it. Oops, don't even know what I'm zooming. Don't even know what I'm zooming. Here, this image. Yes. Let me click that and stretch. There you go. There you go, right there. You can see it. You guys can all see it. I totally see what he's talking about. It's in the building behind Kong. Cool. It's a nice little detail that I didn't notice. Probably, you're right. Probably the first blow of the final fight. Actually, I don't know, because you can see in that shot where Kong's running up to hit Godzilla, he's got like a bit of a singe on his shoulder. So I think Kong probably got toasted with atomic breath shortly before that, and I think that's probably going to be Kong's big hit for the battle. That's probably going to be the big hit that kicks off the battle. But yeah, I think Godzilla's going to start out by blasting Kong, and that's probably when Kong's going to realize that the atomic breath catches it. And also, you know what? Now that I say it, I totally take that back, because Godzilla's dorsal fins are chipped, so I don't know how the heck the fight's going to play out. But yeah, you're right. You did point out that the axe is in the building. You know what? I no longer think that big shot of Kong bringing the axe down on Godzilla is how the fight starts. I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm very, very late, but at least I'm fashionably late. Thank you, Brayton. You are very late. We're wrapping it up. I'm reading super chats and then I'm out of here. You missed the whole debate with ETN. We just duked it out, and I think it's safe to say I won that fight. Thank you, Ranger Intel, for the donation, saying, Team Behemoth, anybody? I am not Team Behemoth. I want to see that mammoth squashed. Just because all the fans love him more than they should. Thank you, Godzilla1954, for the donation, saying, Team Godzilla. You are entitled to your opinion, but you're wrong. The axe only has one shot to work, and Kong boxing pose Godzilla is because the axe is dead and lodged into the ground. I don't think the axe is going to be dead and lodged into the ground. I think those shots are two different shots. The lighting is completely different. I think those are two very different shots. I think they're in the same scene, yes, but I do think they're two different shots. Alden Tolbert, thank you for the donation. Mechagodzilla with the Terminator theme, looking at both Kong and Godzilla. Yeah, that'd be cool. I appreciate the donation. Execute Order 69, thank you very much for the second donation. I really appreciate that, man. And this time he says, the Mechagodzilla lunatics are making themselves see things. Yes, I agree. Rob, you're crazy. You're looking for stuff that's not there. Also, Mechagodzilla glows red, guys. Mechagodzilla glows red. Would we not see him glowing red as Godzilla? We're seeing things. I had a dude in a Facebook group say that the tail had metal pieces when destroying the jets. I saw this. Somebody commented in my video and they said they are very disappointed in me for not noticing that the tail has metal pieces in it and some other weird piece of evidence that they were like Godzilla's hand is metallic or something. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Yeah, I did. I actually heard that exact thing. Thank you, Mio5. Thank you very much for the donation. Look at 145. Look at Godzilla's left hand. It's huge. I don't see it, bro. I looked at this shot a bunch when Rob was pointing it out. What you're seeing, you are seeing Godzilla is posed like this, okay? Now, if I pose like this, you notice how this hand appears bigger than this hand and how this hand appears pretty big, especially if I'm like putting it way out here, you know, with the scale of how big Godzilla is. Do you understand why it would look big considering it's pointing out at the camera, but also it doesn't look bigger than it does in the other shots. It looks like the same Godzilla hand that we see in every other shot in the trailer. I truly don't think it looks bigger. I'm not just saying that either. Like I said with Rob, the shot of Godzilla using his atomic breath, the blue is a lighter blue than the shot of him roaring in the city. And I couldn't see it at first because I didn't have them side by side. But once you put them side by side, I totally saw it. But the blue and it doesn't matter. The blue, first of all, the colors are crushed. Second of all, the blue here looks like the same blue that we see many other times in the trailer. So who knows? But yeah, I don't see the hand being huge. Never lose your nerd. Thank you very much for the donation. I was kind of mad at this trailer because my boy Godzilla was getting disrespected and Kong was getting all the love. Team Godzilla for eternity. The reason they did that is because they didn't, audiences don't think Kong can fight Godzilla. It was nothing personal, and I don't think it's representative of the fight because I do think Godzilla is going to win the fight, and I don't think that was an indication that Godzilla was going to lose the fight. It's just that they want to play up Kong's strength so that people understand what's the deal going in. Execute Order 69, thank you very much for the donation. It says your message is retracted, so I can't say what you say, but I very much appreciate the donation. Oh, I'm going to mess up your name, man. I'm so sorry. Iggy Sieplininski. Iggy Sieplininski. Thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate that. It's super generous donation, so I truly, truly do appreciate that. He says, nope, not possible. Even in a world where fake monsters defy physics, Mechagodzilla being in disguise isn't realistic, and I think general audiences would find it ridiculous. Great discussion, thanks. I 100% agree. Even in a world where monsters are real, you can push it too far, and I think people had a little bit of pushback to maybe even King of the Monsters. People thought pushed it a little too far, so I think you're dressed up Mechagodzilla, wearing Ghidorah skin, cosplayed as Godzilla. Don't think audiences are here for that. Destroying a metal jet would make metal fall off the tail, wouldn't it? Oh, are they saying that metal falls off his tail when he smacks the jet? That's pretty ridiculous. The blue changes in King of the Monsters. It sure does. The shot of him blowing his breath into the sky is a different blue than the shot of him blowing his breath in the city at night. Was it Mechagodzilla? Which one of those was Mechagodzilla, guys? His posture admittedly is weird at 145. Looks a bit robotic. Don't believe in the theory, just saying. All right, I'll pull it up. When he's blowing up the city, I don't think so. He's hunched over doing the breath. That's how he does the breath in 2014. He's in the same pose he is when he's doing it on the Muto. He just has a different target this time. Changes because the ambient light is different. Very much so. Your guy Small Fries, thank you very much for the donation. He says, do you think they will give some narrative reason to calling him Mechagodzilla 4? Maybe there were failed prototypes or something. Bro, you're on another level. You're gigabraining so much more than any of us. You've seen the movie. What are you talking about, Mechagodzilla 4? I've never heard anybody call him that. I've just heard them say that Mechagodzilla is going to be in the movie. Is there like a toy or something named Mechagodzilla 4? Because that's probably just the fourth Mechagodzilla toy. I don't know what you're talking about with that. We had like Type 3 Kiryu or whatever he was called, because it was, it's like, oh, it's the fourth Godzilla, or the third Mechagodzilla generation. This one's a different case. Also, this isn't. Mechagodzilla City was already in between this, so this wouldn't even be the fourth. It'd be the fifth. But no, I don't think they're going to call it Mechagodzilla 4. Thank you, Kevbot. 1995, thank you very much for the donation, saying Monkey is Mecha Monkey confirmed. Very much so, and in fact, if that's what Rob and I were debating, was whether or not this was Mechanicon, it was a totally different debate, because clearly it is. You can't... Kong himself isn't as good at fighting as he is in this trailer, proving, therefore, that it is Mechanicon. Also, Kong clearly isn't strong enough to take on Godzilla, and he would get hurt punching Godzilla, and he doesn't in the trailer, and therefore, Mechanicon confirmed. And I just want you to know that I'm spoiling the movie right now, because I did have it all leaked for me, and I've always known this info, and I've been waiting to tell you guys. And, I always get spoilers that I sit on and don't tell you guys because I'm evil and malicious and I'm always out to get you guys. And I just felt like now was the time to let you know that it is Mechanicon and it isn't Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla shows up to support Mechanicon in the end of the movie. They actually go off and have buddy-buddy adventures, and they might even be a little bit romantically involved, but we're not sure. There's an implication, but we never get it clearly confirmed. Meanwhile, Kong, he's actually dead the whole movie. He died of old age back in 1993. So this is not even, it's Mechanicon on the island to begin with. They don't even know that until the very end of the movie. And Godzilla himself, he actually got knocked out towards the beginning of the movie. You actually see it in a scene with Kong. It's on the aircraft carrier. He gets knocked out, and then the Mechagodzilla takes his place. And at the end of the movie, it's revealed that it's Mechanicon and Mechagodzilla, and they fight each other up until they realize that they're actually soulmates. And that's what ends the fight, is, they give each other backup, or they touch each other's back, whatever, because they realized that they were always meant to be together and that they were both metallic buddies the whole time. And really, overall, I'm ending the stream here. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys all for watching. Yeah, are you talking about that scene of Madison jam where Madison looks like she's about 1,000 years older because she's got gray hair for some reason? Super weird. Seen people saying Godzilla is holding his hand open means he's Mechagodzilla. Is Godzilla not allowed to have splayed hands? Yeah, I mean he does in all the other films. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I'll wait for you guys to catch up to me so that you can hear that I'm ending it here, which will apparently, according to the stream delay, it's gonna be a while till you get to this point. But want to end it here. Got other stuff to do. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. Got stuff to do. And I really have to go to the bathroom. I wasn't actually going to hop on until Rob called me out, said that I was the scum of the earth and that I was worthless. And so I had to come on here to defend my honor. And so, you know, now I'm here. And I think we whooped his ass in that fight, which is the important part. At the end of the day, ultimately, the important part is that we kicked his ass in that fight.
Aziza, Obsidian? That's Obsidian's a little bit too.
You can hear Rob now.
Now you're spamming poopy. You know what happens when you spam in this chat?
Sounds like Rob.
Time out. There it is. Thank you,
sounds like
Nicholas.
Rob is having a very important stream.
Piper?
They're talking about some real hard-hitting stuff right now.
What is it? Somebody said that in chat too, and I thought it was horrible. My wife said Penelope. Conga? Nah. Kona? Nah.
All right, you guys all good?
Legendary? Nah. Kiki?
You guys all good? Can I end it here? I don't know where you guys are. I don't know where you guys are. Seems like you're very far behind me. What I need you to comment, I need you to blow up my chat with either Team Kong or Team Godzilla, whichever team you're on. All of you are Team Godzilla, but let's get Team Kong some credit as well. Let's blow up the chat with Team Kong, Team Godzilla. I'll see that all in the chat, and once I see that all, I will know that you're caught up to where I am right now, and now I know I can end it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to wait till I see that, because God, you guys are so far behind me. The reason why Mechagodzilla in disguise doesn't make any sense, because that would be a bit of a stretch to believe they made Flash realistically looking over 400-foot tall mech. I agree. Dude, I don't know how this stream is so far delayed, but it's pretty incredible how far delayed it is. My brain can't function too much information. Thank you for tuning in, Oscar Hernandez, one of my very first viewers ever. Huge shout out to Oscar for supporting me for years. Thank you so much. This dude has been around since like 2015, 2016. He's been around a long time, so thank you very much for the long time support. I really appreciate that. I will keep climbing Greatness Mountain, Godzilla154. Thank you very much for the support. I will climb to the top of that mountain, and you know, we all know what happens once I'm at the top. Damn, this stream is very far behind me. Turn back into Rob. He's not saying anything.
Oh god, yeah. That's just a half hour long.
He's not saying nothing. Oh my god. How far behind is this stream? I have to go to the bathroom. It's got to be like a solid 5 minutes. It really, really has to be like a solid 5 minutes behind. This is nuts. Team Kong. I can end it. This is brilliant. Team Godzilla's Team Kong, Team both. Team Kong. Thank you very much. Jam, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Razor. Thank you, Mr. Something. Thank you, COD. Thank you, Godzilla154. Thank you, Goji Fan 54. Thank you, Oscar Hernandez. Thank you, Cool Guy. Your name. Thank you, VR. Thank you, Is your name Daddy something that I see? Dead something, not Daddy. That was going to be weird. Thank you, Dead something. Thank you, Junkie. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, everybody. All right. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You guys are the real heroes. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out. Oh, yeah, and I'm totally told you that there was going to be more Monsterverse to come and nobody listened to me, but there totally was going to be, and there totally still could be if God